Hello and welcome to Spurs Kings TV. That was a sun just drop in there. Don't know what happened. Ash, you well?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Just been relaxing on this international weekend, and boy, Kay looks like he's on fire in the form of his life. If only we had a striker like that up top.
Do you remember when we used to have one?
I remember, man. Like, I don't know. There's a debate at the moment. Who starts for Spurs out of the current front four? Tell when he comes back, Solanke, Moani, or Richarlison. Who's the four that goes up top?
Well, that's not a debate that we have to we'll have, but we don't have to go through it. Thank God. But yeah, look, welcome to Spurs Kings TV. It's Tuesday. It's always time for Ashmatic analysis on a Tuesday. Today we are being slightly sponsored by it's Buds, who are doing a Pat Jennings auction, which is tomorrow, which finishes tomorrow. It is pinned to the link in the chat if you're not there already. I'll quickly play you a quick video and then we'll go again. But before I bring out the guest.
And the collections keep coming at Buds. I'm delighted to announce on the 15th of October, we have a single on a sale. The life and legacy of Pat Jennings, the collection of shirts, international caps, trophies, and ephemera relating to Pat. And tell a story about a life in 119 appearances. Let's look at what the items we have here. International debut shirt here in front of me. His 100th appearance shirt at the back there, the yellow one, and his last appearance, 119th time for Northern Ireland. Just three of the excellent shirts going under the hammer in the sale on the 15th of October. Go to our website, register for the auction, buds.com.
So any Pat Jennings fans out there, on the 15th of October, they are auctioning the Pat Jennings collection, which includes memorabilia from the best moments of Pat's time at Spurs. Yeah, and it also includes Northern Ireland, and it also includes the scum. But it includes his match-worn shirt from the 1973 League Cup final and the silver-plated plaque from the 1967 game that saw him score his one and only goal, some unmissable lot. So if you're interested in that, it's pinned to the chat. It's at buds.com. So Ash.
Yes.
Let's bring out the guest.
Let's bring him out, man.
Let's bring him out.
Bring him out.
So first of all, he's back. He missed last week, but Oren, you well?
Yeah, I'm good. All well. Yeah, just thought I'd give you guys a rest. Come back this week. Come back to important times, you know.
Because I've not been around. For you.
Nah, it's all been good. I was just thinking earlier as well, like how peaceful it's been. It's actually been peaceful. I'm actually thinking about going back on X. There's no.
So Oren, before I bring out our next guest, because he's more of the popular. So if you say it's been more peaceful, is this down to a certain man leaving? Do you reckon?
Oh yeah, for sure. We all knew that. We all knew that. Let's not. I think, but we all knew that. And then of course the Enoch saying they're going to invest 100 million into the club as well. I think fans are just, they don't know what to do. Like, there's no protesting being arranged. There's they must be pissed off of all that flags and stuff in the back.
Real life situations now. Go back to the real world.
Change. Yeah.
Spurs is too fun to support now.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's the first time in 25 years I can say there's peace. Just peace. It's brilliant. I'm not knocking it. And yeah, we all knew what was going to happen, but it's really nice to be a Spurs supporter right now.
All right. And then the next guest, we ain't had him on for a while, Ash, have we? But it's been a minute, but we love enjoying him on, and we've only got him for a short amount of time today, so we're going to use him as much as we can for this first hour. But JJ, you well?
I'm good. Thanks for having me back on, guys. Awesome to be with you.
Great to have you on. Okay. So let's get straight into it. Look, as Oren said, he's actually quite right. When I was coming up with what should we talk about today, I was kind of like, there was bits we missed off last week, I think we got into a whole massive debate about probably non-Spurs things in the end. It was just kind of went all over the place, and it was like, what are we doing here? But I thought I'll save a topic for today. But then I saw a topic today that came up, and I was like, you know what? We need to discuss this with the panel. as well. So the first one which has been doing its rounds on social media, especially the Spurs community, I think it's the only thing we've all been arguing about, is Vicario. And the reason why I bring him up is because there is a lot of split opinion. He hasn't started well. Personally, I don't think he started the season well, but the stats will go against exactly what I'm saying. Big time guy against what I'm saying. Ash, where do you sit on this Vicario debate?
Don't think it's a pressing issue in my opinion. I think it's an issue where we can look to strengthen that maybe in the summer. I wouldn't say this January would be using him to get him out the door. Obviously, there's King's Key there in the ranks, and one's slightly better with his feet, and maybe I'd say slightly better at commanding the box. And when you're looking at modern day goalkeepers, I think it's a massive way of how teams set to play in terms of baiting the press. Goalkeepers need to learn how to not only do long passing, not only do short passing, but now medium passing from the Zerbi-esque tactics, you know, when you're trying to pick out the fullbacks and you're trying to bait, you know, midfielders, you're trying to bait a lot of players into the box. The goalkeeper needs to be quite good at doing those, you know, lofted balls out wide or into, you know, your attacking mids or your strikers. So yeah, man, Vicario, he's not bad, I'd say, short passing. I think his medium passing is a bit of a concern. And he's a traditional goalkeeper, so he's good at doing the long balls. In terms of commanding the box, though, we knew it from day dot.
Yeah.
We knew the flapper.
It was always we were concerned from when we were signing him, but we were like 17 million. Who cares? I think that's what we basically said.
Yeah, it was the whole like, all right, we're going a bit cheaper because, you know, Raya's no longer available, and so this keeper, he's been recommended by, was it Buffon that was bigging him up, saying he's a top keeper.
He recommended him. When we signed him, he gave him a glowing reference, but wasn't the reference? It was a bit like a Spurs fan did make half of it up.
Right. Okay. That says a lot. So yeah, that's the issue at the moment. If we want to be a possession-based team and we want to play out from the back, he's going to be a big reason of why some of these attacks, especially like quick transitions where it looks like we're counter-attacking teams, but what we're doing is we're drawing out loads of players into our half or into our box or into our defensive third. Then all of a sudden the keeper picks out one of those players. I think that's not really his bag, in my opinion. But yeah, man, we move, man. Like I said, I think he's a great shot stopper, to talk about the positives.
Which is the bit that's been letting him down this year.
Yeah. Well, I think there's been a lot of mistakes. There's a lot of games we could have won. For example, Brighton, there was a shot that went through his hands. The debate is, you know, what Arteta was saying, isn't it, about the ball? You know, the ball, the shape of it. The Jabuani, the South African ball. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's not me. I think Vicario should be saving that one against Brighton. Me personally. There was another incident as well where he should really be saving some of those shots where it's caused an error and it's ended up costing points again. I think the one against Wolves that springs to mind when it came in for a corner, kind of deflected off one of our players, but then he had a hand to it. I can't remember exactly how it happened, but I just know that he should have done a lot better on that corner and he should have collected it. Also, his punching.
Now, I'm glad you mentioned that. That's my biggest concern with him this season. I don't think he's clearing it every time he goes to punch it, he puts it back in danger, or he gives it to the opposition, or one of our players has to then flap it. And I think that's what the Leeds game that was the worst one. But you look at him, I don't think he's been punished enough for his mistakes this year. I think we've got away with it a lot. And then I think it's down to the back four in front of him more often than not. But I'll go back to when you go back to Bournemouth. Mm-hmm. He was excellent against Bournemouth. He kept us in the game. So it swings and roundabouts with Vicario at the moment. And it's one of them. I'll ask you this question. Is Vicario the man that you could see consistently doing what Lloris did and taking us to Champions Leagues each season?
No, as I said, long term. The problem I have this season is that when he's saving, sometimes it's not always out of danger. Sometimes he's saving it and he's pushing it, and the danger's not quite over. So I personally not sure if he's the guy long term for us. And it's going back to that punching. You want the whole point of punching it is to alleviate the danger, or decision making has to be slightly better. Because I think some of those balls that come in, I think he can catch them. I'll be real, and that's where it is for me. Like where he likes to talk, it's almost like Højbjerg's spirit has transferred into him, where he's become the pointy, shouty type of guy, and he somehow wormaged his way into that leadership group. Not that I'm a big fan of that anyway, but I don't know if it's a new school thing where you have to have a leadership group. But he talks a lot, bro. Like, just stop talking. Like, just stop doing. You know what I mean? I think that's the reason why people are like, yeah, he could be a captain. And I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Long term, I think we're going to upgrade. If we're serious about this is the club we want to be in terms of like being a possession side based team or competing, you know, in that top 4 bracket and getting trophies, I just think your goalkeeper has to be like a safe pair of hands. And yeah, I just think he is disposable out of all the players that we do have.
JJ, I'll bring you in. Where do you sit on this whole Vicario debate? Are you kind of like, okay, are you with Ash where it's not pressing now, but you can see it's going to become an issue the stronger we get? As you can see, the club are putting in the investment. We've had probably our best transfer window, I'm going to say, for a very long time. The players, every single player that's come in, apart from Mwani so far, has made an impact. So where do you sit on the Vicario issue at the moment?
Yeah, I think I agree with pretty much everything that Ash has just said there. What I would say, a couple of bits to add, is that is there a better keeper out there? Like to the priority now for people seemingly quite jumping on this Vicario thing, is there a better keeper available now? Maybe there's one name recently that's been bandied about from Barcelona, but he's not known for being brilliant with his feet. So yeah, is there a better keeper out there, i.e. the one that takes you, if we did it now, on to that next level? I think that's a question worth asking, and therefore is it worth rocking the boat to make a change? You do that, and I totally agree. If you want to go up that level and you want to be in the winning bracket of the top 4 and in the Champions League and, you know, competing, I'd say he is definitely somebody that you could look to bring in a new number 1. But is there someone available? Do you rock the boat now, or do you wait? And actually, he's not the priority. He's not the one to go for. And I'd also say he's probably in a situation which is difficult for a goalkeeper. He's probably low on confidence at the minute, and you'd never know it because he talks a lot, because he's shouting and he's very verbal and he's gesticulating, and that's the kind of character he is. But he looks like he's low on confidence. He's never been great under the high ball. I've never been convinced by his footwork from kind of day one, and it concerns me. His passing, his mid-range and long-range passing is definitely not fantastic. And if you add to that the fact that he's not confident and he's going through a rough patch at the minute, then you start to see some of the errors that I think, or whether they're 100% errors or 50% errors, whatever you want to call them, like the shots that you're referencing that are kind of going through his hands that he should be doing better. There's a couple that I think he's left out there on the grass in the last couple of matches. And I think that's just a dip in form. And when that happens to a goalkeeper, it's really, really difficult. And so can you see Vicario going on a journey as a goalkeeper where his mid and long range passing improves, his confidence improves, he calms down his mentality, and he starts claiming the high ball? Because shot stopping, he is one of the absolute best out there when he's playing well. He's phenomenal. And as you mentioned, Marlon, check out the stats. The stats say that he's doing okay. He's not doing terribly. Okay, you can drill into a couple of the passing stats, and there's a bit of context around. Just because you made loads of passes don't mean they're all really good, but he has got excellent short range pass completion. They are 5-10 yard passes either side to a centre half. But his pass completion for short passes is very good. He uses both feet, and a lot of the play goes through him. A lot of the play now goes back through him to the fullbacks, and then we bang it long. So he's an important part of the puzzle, and yeah, that's kind of where I'm with him at the minute.
Oren, I'll bring you into the conversation. You obviously heard what everyone else has had to say. Look, I've never been a fan of Vicario, but I know what he's good at and I know what he's terrible at. Where do you sit on the whole situation right now? As you said, it's been peaceful in the Tottenham ranks, but the one argument that seems to be coming up recently is Vicario. It seems to be the biggest concern, even though, as JJ said and I pointed out earlier, if you look at the stats, they're in his favour. Shots to save ratio is probably one of the best in the Premier League. He's faced so many shots this season, but Spurs fans don't feel comfortable with him. I think that's the best word to explain it.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was an issue. Like I didn't know.
Where you been?
Yeah, exactly. I've obviously been someplace where I haven't heard this issue. I can't understand the concerns that Spurs fans have. Ash made very good points, but this is nothing new. Even last season, he was criticised for not catching the ball and always punching. But JJ, you hit the nail on the head there when it says about confidence. I think the biggest issue for Vicario, and he's still 29, which is still, I'd say, pretty young for a goalkeeper. It is his decision making. Because when the ball goes back to him, you can tell he's unsure of when to pass it, to do it short, to do it long. Decision making is something that only gains with experience. And the better, if you look at I would say in the Premiership, there's not a single goalkeeper who hasn't made mistakes to, whether it's a shot they should have saved or something like that. So when it comes to mistakes, I think, goalkeepers do make mistakes. Unfortunately, they're the last line of defense. So when they make a mistake, it can lead to a goal or a penalty. But as far as the mistakes goes, I think he makes pretty much the same as even the top goalkeepers in the Premiership. Shot stopping is great. I think that his ability to catch the ball, again, though, comes back to decision making. When to catch, be stronger, be more aggressive, and the passing. So I think that, like JJ said as well, it's all good saying he needs to be replaced, but who do you replace him with? There's not a lot of goalkeepers out there that, for now. So is it a case of, we're going to replace you? But then again, you've got Kingsley there, who's great at passing the ball. But again,
that's the next question.
Yeah, but that's the thing as well.
We do have a goalkeeper that everything that Vicario is weak at, Kingsley is so strong at, and everything Kingsley is weak at, Vicario is strong at.
Yes, and then Spurs have got another keeper in Austin, who, he might not be playing, but you look at three goalkeepers there. But the thing is that all have in common is that they're all inexperienced, and again, the decision making is I used to be a goalkeeper when I played, and brother played for his country, my dad played for his country, and the biggest thing they told me, decision making. You have to make, almost have to make a decision a split second before the ball is played. You have anticipation. So I think with even with Lloris, he made mistakes. He made countless mistakes. I think there was one with Trippier when he came rushing out. Trippier knocked the ball past him. It was an own goal.
Yeah, that, to be fair to Lloris, it was more when he was coming towards the end of his career where the mistakes started to creep in. And we should trade when that Lloris and Trippier thing happened.
Yeah,
that's when we probably should have been upgrading on Lloris at that time, because that's when we started to see the troubles. But before that, when you look at our Champions League in between that 4-year period, Lloris was probably one of the best, if not the best, goalkeepers in the country.
Yeah, Lloris had won the World Cup as well,
and made a mistake in the final.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's like, even I'm not saying Lloris is probably one of the best goalkeepers in Spurs history, for the body of work he did. But again, even when he had confidence issues or decision making, it is something, unfortunately, that as a goalkeeper, you make a bad decision, two things: goal or a penalty, something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't think, like Ash rightly said, it's not a pressing issue at all. And hey, it gives a fan something to have argument about because there's nothing else at the moment. So yeah, that's my thought. I think it's not an issue.
So let's talk about Kingsley for a second, because I've always had this issue that I think everyone wrote him off because of the North London derby when he let a shot through his hands, and I think there was another game,
Aston Villa.
Aston Villa, yeah, forgot about Villa, where he kind of made the mistake within the first minute, but got man of the match in that game. My biggest issue with the whole Kingsley argument is I haven't seen him where he's had Porro, Van der Ven, Romero, or Doggy in front of him, and even I'm going to include Spence in that now, as a 4. He's never had that. It's always been Gray, Danso, or it's been a mismatch. And when Vicario's had that, he's been the same. He's made mistakes. So my thing is, until I see Kingsley in with that back 4, then I'll make my judgment on him. Because yes, he showed me, I know everyone said it's Doncaster, but he showed in that game where actually his reaction for that save, no matter who that's against, that was top class, but we just haven't seen him enough. So it's going to be really interesting when we play Newcastle. But again, he's not going to be in front of the back 4 that we normally have. So is it a case of, actually, I said this at the beginning of the season, that I believe by the end of the season, Kingsley is more suited to Thomas Frank's style of football than what Vicario is.
It's not controversial, but it's a topic that there's a lot of Vicario fans out there, and they really like the I don't know if it's the energy or the character or just the fact that he's an old school goalkeeper, you know.
Very old school.
First and foremost, you want your goalkeeper to be in between the sticks, you know. Yeah. And this is a new age thing where a lot of fans don't prioritize on playing out from the back with your goalkeeper being the third centre back almost. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when Kingsley came in, I reckon in his first game, I remember he came, he hugged his sister, he was emotional, and he was shit hot, bro. Let's keep it 100.
Yeah, because me and you had the big debate.
He was really good with his feet. He was really good with his feet. And you could see the confidence brimming in him. And I felt like he almost got not too big for his boots, but he got a bit too confident.
Yeah.
And then when the mistakes happened, everyone piled on, as we do as fans. You know, we're very reactionary. So the issue is, I think, the mistakes he made, regardless of who's in front of him, I think that was the issue where fans were like, well, no, he should be saving or he should be doing better in those incidents.
Yeah,
and I do hear what you're saying.
Both goals.
No, I do hear what you're saying. With a better back line, do those shots, does he not face those type of shots? Is he not unsighted?
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, those type of things there. And you just need to see it play out. And so you're right, Newcastle would be the perfect game for him to see, but it's a big game. So does Frank, well, he has to play him, right? Because he was ready to leave. He was getting linked because he was like, you know, I want to play more football, and he was looking for a loan move, apparently, from what I heard. But I think they reassured him that he was going to get more game time because
he did come from playing every week in European
Champions League as well.
Yeah, Champions League.
He wasn't no small fry, even though he's young. And I think that's another perception because he's young as well, compared to Vicario. Vicario's a big man. Like Kingsley's like what, 21, 22? He's a young kid. So I think he comes with that kind of baggage. When we went so far youth-centric, like last season, where we like, oh, we need some adults in our team now. We've got Archie Gray, you know, playing centre-back, full-back. We have Bergvall playing in the number 8, number 10 role, number 6, whatever you want to call it. He was in midfield. Then you had obviously Kingsley. He was to add to the other. But then you had Oliver, obviously got injured. And then you got Tell. So it's all these young players that aren't really performing. Yes, they got high ceiling. Yes, they need more time. But it's a weird club, Tottenham. Tottenham's a weird club because we have the expectations of a top 4 club. Do you know what I'm saying? And so young players don't really have that much time, if that makes sense. If it's been like a Brentford, had this been like a Brighton, had this been like a different project where some of these young players could thrive and get the minutes, I don't think there'll be such, you know, skepticism on some players. People will be like, nah, Odegaard needs time, Tell needs time, give Kingsley a run of games. But because it's such a pressure cooker where the fans are demanding that Frank in his first season needs to be getting a trophy. No, not you guys, but I'm just saying we have fans in our fan base said Ange did it, so why ain't Frank doing it? Then you've got we're a top 4 club, or we need to be in Champions League minimum. Then you're like looking at Kinksky. If he makes a mistake, all of a sudden it's a disaster. Do you know what I'm saying? So everything's blown up 10 times because of the type of club we are. We're competing against rivals like Liverpool, Arsenal, do you understand? Chelsea. Whether we think we're at that level there or now, it's the pressure as fans that we put on our team, we put on our players, we put on our coach, our managers, the coaches, and all of that. Do you know what I mean? And so it goes back to what Ange had. Ange never had the coaches, because you still got people that are backing Ange. He's the one that won our first trophy, but he never had the coaches to back him. He had never had the number 6. Like how you're saying, he never had the back line. Kinksky never had the back line. He never had Van der Ven and Romero. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So how does it all look with that in place? How does he put? There's so many question marks. There's so much what ifs and babies. We won't know. And so when we play Newcastle, if he does play, which I do think he will, if we get knocked out and it comes to penalties, and that's another thing, Vicario has been letting us down for penalties. If
which keeper has it, Ash?
Lloris is he saved some big penalties.
So Lloris had that record, didn't he, where he hadn't saved a penalty for like 3 or 4 years, and then when his career kind of went down, he started saving them. You're like, what the fuck you doing? Come on.
Yeah, experience and IQ. That's where it comes from.
Typical Spurs, the other way around.
I mean, that's just my thoughts. I want to hear what JJ's got to say.
Yeah, JJ, I want to bring you in. Like Kinksky, the argument of Kinksky at the moment, a lot of people are going, I know we're having a debate about Vicario, but a lot of people are not very confident in bringing Kinksky in. Is he, we've identified him as the next goalkeeper. He's not inexperienced in Europe. What would you think he could be given that chance in the Spurs shirt this season?
Look, the coaching staff see him every single day, and he's not shown enough to say enough value in training and full preseason. This is not a manager that's come into a club in crisis in that way. So they've had the full look at him, and he's not done enough in that period of time to say, I make a difference in this system. They're still seeing more, and whether the deciding factor is plainly and simply Vicario's leadership element that is currently winning the battle, that might be it, and it might be the reason that this is happening. But if you are willing to give this coaching staff the time and the credit that they deserve for getting to the position that they're in, you've got to trust their judgment to a certain extent. I think I would really like to see Kinksky play a decent share of cup football so that we can get a good look at him and we can get him out there in pressured situations, because it's just not the same thing in training. It doesn't represent the same kind of thing as being out there on the grass. I think season 1, he came in a really difficult position. We were all over the place. We had injuries going. As you said, he never had that stable, our first choice back 4 or 5 in front of him. And then also, I don't think it's unreasonable to say that a couple of things may have just caught him off guard. The Villa goal was a bad one to concede. It went straight through him. The Trossard one for Arsenal is the other one that people will point to. I think that was he'll be disappointed with that one. That's one of those that goalkeepers will be pretty upset to be beaten from that wide, from that distance.
And it's the worst game for him to do it in for us. Yeah.
I get you. For us, absolutely. It doesn't really mean anything to a goalkeeper. A goalkeeper would hate that going in against anyone. But yeah, to us as fans, obviously, it's
the one that we're always going to bring up, though, because no matter what situation, he's always going to be remembered. His first North London derby, that's what he did. Like, he's got a lot to now make up, and we're reminding him now. Like, say if he was to ever watch this back, which he's not, but say he was, the one thing we're going to remind him of is the Trossard one. And the fact we all remember it, and we're how many months later, is kind of always going to be the one that goes against him. But so, when do you think there will be a period that he will be able to get a good run again? Because he's not playing Champions League football either. So, is there ever going to be a chance for him to have, or is it the Carabao Cup and possibly the FA Cup in January?
Yeah, I think I said this before the season. I would expect those would be the 2 competitions that he would play in, and I'd be interested to see if the coaching staff decide to split the minutes Like a lot of managers have done over the years, it's right, this is, this in advance. Obviously, if performances or injuries, get in the way, that might change. But the keepers are almost told before, you are now Premier League, Champions League, you are FA Cup, Carabao, and they split it that way. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the way it went. I'd be very interested to see how he does. He might still not, as you've referenced, he might still not have the first choice back 4 or 5, but Thomas Frank has been putting a lot of minutes through his first choice defenders, and he's been rotating his midfielders and really rotating the front 3. I would be really, really interested to see what value he gives, because he did pull off a couple of really good saves earlier in this season, and he showed, okay, if the shot stopping is there, and then you can ally that to a much improved distribution, he becomes the goalkeeper that Thomas Frank wanted and needed at Brentford, and therefore does he become the goalkeeper that Tottenham need to take us that half step forward, because we're really struggling to progress the football. That's not there yet. It's not been built into the team. We're not doing it. But one of the things we can do is take a bit of the burden off the back line to be doing some of that attacking build-up play, and the goalkeeper can add to that. Because one of the things that Vicario really struggles with is he's got a very busy mind, and the playing of a pass through your centre halves, beating the striker, beating the press and into a midfielder, that is a precision pass. That is one of those that you absolutely cannot afford to get wrong. It is so precise, so well timed. It needs to be in the perfect position. It needs to favour the midfielder over the player who's pressing him. It needs to give him absolutely all the advantage in the world with the right pace and the right angle, and everything about it's got to be right timing. Vicario can't do that pass. He's shown that he will give it in an advantage to the opposition. They will be able to press and intervene. Does Kinski give you that? We know he's great with his feet. Has he got that in the locker? I don't think we've yet seen it. We've seen some very nice stuff. This is the kind of stuff that I'd be really interested to see the tactics. When we go out, he plays against Newcastle. Do we start doing that? We split our centre halves a bit more and then bang it down the middle to one of our rotating midfielders. Has he got that in the locker? Then all of a sudden we've got another string to our bow to start building how we get out with the ball.
Oren, just on Kingsley quickly, what's your feelings on whether will he get his chance, or do you think?
Yeah, I think he will get his chance, and I think last season we have to remember that when he came in, he was needed. It wasn't a case of, oh, he's to cover Vicario. He was straight in. I think he came on the Tuesday. He was playing by the weekend. And he did things that we all wanted Vicario to do, like catch the ball and the passing. And as I said, he did get a little bit cocky, with holding the ball. And it's like, then he made the mistake. And like I said, we both mentioned, it doesn't matter. Well, especially for a young player like Kingsley, if he's playing on a regular basis and errors creep in, that can destroy a whole keeper for the rest of his career. It's that fine margin. So I think with the Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Frank probably will play him, and then eventually, and like JJ said as well, the coaching staff are watching and they're thinking he's not quite ready for the Premiership, because it's not just about being ready for one game, it's about being ready consistently, and also the mental side of it. And again, we have to look at the third choice goalkeeper, Brandon Austin, who, when he started, he didn't really do too much wrong. And, we were surprised at that. No one's even talking about him, so it's a very fine, I'm always down to today, when it comes to young players, their mentality has to be looked after. It's not the same as back in the day of Michael Owen or Ray Rooney, because there was no social media. If Ray Rooney had a shit game, no one cared. It was like, he's young. But we've seen what happened with Till, even Brendan Johnson. They have a bad game, it's meltdown. They're rubbish. Get them out of the club. Look at Archie Gray. I mean, Archie Gray's a solid player, but he had a couple of bad games at 18 years old. And, he's not good enough for the club. Get him off. So like Ash was saying, I do think that when it comes to the mentality of young players today, I think all coaches and managers realize they have to be protected. Again, Dele Alli is a prime example. He was young. Look what's happened to him. I mean, he's still under 30, and where's he even playing now? He went from potentially one of the best footballer to play for Wrexham or something now. So I understand that fans want Kingsley in, but at the same time, we have to just breathe, realize that we're.
I don't think no one wants Kingsley. It's more the question of will it be able to. I think what everyone's looking at with this whole Vicario situation is actually they're both not good enough. And I think people want to change it now. Well, not now, but as in it should be addressed next summer.
Yeah, again, it's so quick to throw players under the bus, fans. You know, it's like, again, if Vicario was at that age where both of these goalkeepers were at the age where you're thinking, right, they should be playing top level, but they're not. They're still young for goalkeepers. The top goalkeepers don't start being good until they're in their 30s. It's always been the case. Again, that was decision making. But then again, it's a case of let's get rid of these keepers. Let's bring a new one in. What happens if that one doesn't work out? What happens if the other one doesn't work out? So
well, you're more hoping though that they're going to bring in someone that's going to be more someone who's suited to Frank's football more than anything else. Because obviously Vicario was brought in for Ange.
But wasn't Ange about playing at the back as well?
Yeah,
in a certain way. So
but Vicario kind of, and that's what left all of us with our hearts and mouths from. I think it was from the first friendly, and was like, give it time. But his shot stopping became the thing because he was facing so many shots in an Ange system. He was gonna look good.
The thing is as well, which is really interesting because the first 10 games it looked good, but I would have to say. The one difference in that team in the first 10 games that Spurs don't quite have right now was Yves Bissouma, who was good at getting the ball and beating a player. So it made if you know you can pass to a player, like give you a more modern example. If you look at Kudus, they will pass to Kudus. Vicario will pass to him because he knows that Kudus can control the ball in his chest and hold the ball up. If Spurs was to have the equivalent of someone like that in the middle, I think that could make the goalkeepers a lot more confident, knowing that, right, if I pass you this ball, you can protect it, and then you can, be the player and then start something. I think right now Spurs don't necessarily have that. Polina may be capable of it. But, I think I just think that within that team, if every fan had a choice between a new goalkeeper or, say, someone like Semedo, they would pick Semedo.
It's like that whole debate, though, because you spoke about, and I'll let JJ chat because I know he hasn't got a lot of time, but just a quick sidestep. Kudus is obviously good at holding possession, but then you've got a player called Kulusevski coming into the team, and the debate at the moment is who would you have right now? Who's more important? Kulusevski. Because Madison just did a documentary. I don't know if you lot saw it, right?
Yeah.
And he's just talking about his time on the table, his injury process from the ACL. Obviously, his emotional side and his relationship with some of the players. And Bentancur was there to reassure him, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, the debate was, who would you have right now? Would you have Solanke? Who would make a bigger impact? Solanke, Kulusevski, or Madison? And the reason why I brought it up is because you said, if we had another player that the ball could go into, I think Kulusevski is that type of player. He's really good. He's quite physical, can hold the ball up, and he's the one that can keep hold of possession and then progress that ball forward. Do you know what I mean? In the midfield. But I just thought I'd bring that up, man. It's a sort of side note. But sorry, Marlon, carry on, man. Sorry.
I was just listening to Oren. It doesn't matter.
I just reminded me because I saw that documentary and I know that was obviously nothing's really going on apart from the 100 million that's been spent, not being spent, but it's been injected. And then obviously Bissouma got injured.
The only thing I'd say about the situation where he said, obviously Savinho, if you ask Tottenham fans now, where would Guava go on the left or the right? The problem's going to be if we go and get that left-sided player, Vicario then does become a massive issue because of his long-range passing. Like you said, Kudus holds up the ball. I think what you can see from Frank, he likes to go long over the fullback's head because they like to push up quite far, and he likes to push it over to Kudus and whoever is going to be on the left eventually. He likes to put it in between that channel just so that they're going on their back foot. The problem is that Vicario can't do that, and I think long term, Vicario, if we go and get the left winger, Vicario becomes a bigger issue because of his distribution. I've never liked Vicario from day one, so I'm the last person who should be like arguing the case. But I didn't. It's not for me. I think he becomes. I think everyone. I know everyone's saying it's not a concern now, but I think it does become a concern next summer. And I think we need to start addressing that situation. And I think this is where we have to look at it. Do we have a free hit season that actually we need to see what Kingsley's like at some point as well to see whether. Because if I said to you right now, how many goalkeepers are better than Vicario in the Premier League, you probably have quite a bit of a list compared to what we had when Lloris was around. And that's not to say the quality of the goalkeeping has probably gone down, but the goalkeepers that are in front of Vicario, the goalkeepers that are in front of Vicario, they're not goalkeepers that weren't gettable for Spurs and probably still ain't. Like let's take Dean Henderson at Palace. He's a better goalkeeper than Vicario. Again, not great with his feet. There's Nick Pope. Again, not great with his feet, but is a better keeper. So it is, and I think this goes back to JJ's point where it kind of goes to what the coaching staff obviously see Vicario every day. They must know how they want to eventually play this out. Now it's just going to be whether it's going to be Vicario, Kingsley, or someone else, and that's the question. But the next one, I want to talk about our captain, and that's QT Romero. Now, I've been seeing a lot of some Spurs fans just don't think he's that great, makes too many mistakes. But there are most Spurs fans, most will sit there and go, he's one of the top defenders in the Premier League. Problem is, outside, no one puts Romero in the top 10. Is Romero one of the top 10 defenders in the Premier League?
Yeah, he is. He is one of the top 10 defenders. All it is that he has a moments of lapses of concentration, which we saw last season. And I think one that springs to mind is when we played away at St. James's Park, when he was partnered with Dragushin. Yeah. And it was that whole high line situation. Should he have stepped out or should he have stepped back? You know, did my man put and play the other guy on the side? Like, whose fault was it? So it's those moments there where you're looking at your leader, your number one centre back. Are they going to be leading on the pitch? Are they going to make those right decisions? Are they making those calls? And there's been times even this season where people are saying, oh, why has he made that run, that marauding run into the box? I think it was against Wolverhampton when we actually did concede the corner. So there was a point where Spurs were trying to force the conversation. We're trying to force that. We were trying to make things happen, and things don't really happen. It was a bit meticulous, a bit slow. So Romero was like, no, I want you to press like this. And Romero charges up. I remember Richarlison was pressing, and I can't remember who else was pressing alongside him, but the press wasn't very strong because sometimes Frank wants to press with a two-man press. Sometimes he would do three. It all depends on the opposition. It depends on the game state, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Romero, as the captain, he's like the voice. He's the leader on the pitch. He's almost a coach on the pitch. So he goes charging up. He goes to press. He doesn't quite press. And then as a result, I think it's Bentancur had to cover. One of the defenders had to shift over. I think it was Porro in that position. But anyway, there's been no coverage. And because of that error, him making that charge and run, it's led in us conceding the corner that Bentancur had to header off. So it's those moments there, you're like, would a top defender do that? Do you know what I'm saying? It's those moments. But there's other times when you're like, he's a top defender because he hasn't picked up any yellow cards because he's been known to be a hothead. But I think other fans look at him, it's the bozo moments that they're trying to pull him up on. Do you know what I mean? Where he's got a moment where he just has, like, I want to do my own thing, but, you know, it might be the detriment to the actual team. Do you know what I'm saying? In terms of like 1v1 defending, his aggression, aerial ability, we know he's an aggressive front-footed defender, and he's one of the best at it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just that at times, you know, he can be questionable in terms of his decision making at times. That's all it is. I think we need to see that more over a consistent season, because a lot of the seasons he's played, it's been a case of, yeah, he's been what's the word? Every time he's playing, there's been moments where he's been injured and he hasn't played a full-blown season. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that's where we need to see as Spurs fans, Romero play for a full season, not get injured, not pick up suspensions that affect us. Because when Romero and Van der Ven aren't playing as a two, we don't look the same. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And so I think that's the question. But yeah, going back to that person that put the comment in the actual in the stream right there. Yeah, I think it was DR Sports, the guy that came out. I don't want to speak on other like YouTubers, innit? But he's come out and he's done the mad thing, and he said, you know, Konate is better.
When you mentioned Konate, I kind of lost respect to the whole thing. But I thought, but actually, when you started,
they went further. They were like, oh,
Yeah,
they
really?
were just listing defenders after defenders after defenders, and I was like, yeah,
No, but just on like
One second, Jay. Because JJ has to go, and I just want to get his opinion on it before he goes, and then you can come in.
Oh yeah, right.
Go on, JJ.
Listen, I've not seen what you're referring to, but if people think they can find 10 other Premier League centre halves that are better than him, yeah, that's news to me. I don't think that's right. I agree, Ash, with what you're talking about. He is one of the best ball playing centre halves, not just in the Premier League, but beyond that as well. There's a mentality, there's a winning edge, there's an aggressiveness, there's when he's on and when he really stitches it together and it really matters, he is phenomenal. He's definitely up there. There's definitely moments where his inner passion and his inner enthusiasm gets the better of him, and that is sometimes he allows it to happen. So when the team around him are not playing well, or when things are not going particularly well, he's got it in him to either go herring up the pitch or go after somebody and try and, you know, break them in half. That's part of who he is and part of how he does what he does. But on the flip side of it, when it really matters, when you've got, you know, deep cup runs, cup finals, you know, medals are on the table, all of that kind of stuff, he's an unbelievable defender, and he's willing to leave everything out there. And the leadership thing, I think, might help. This year, the captaincy might also help with a bit of that, which will be good to see. But yeah, he still went walkabouts more than once in recent games. He still went herring up the pitch, and whether that was to spur the rest of the team on to press. Maybe it was the time that they were supposed to press. Maybe it was just we were being too passive in our defence. I certainly was very critical of how passive we've been a couple of times in dropping into a low block when we should have been resting and then getting back after teams, and we didn't do it. Particularly the Wolves performance, I think he might have been trying to you know, gear that up and do that. But yeah, don't underestimate how important he is. There's probably only one centre half, and even it's the long passing, but one that can compare to his passing, and that's Van Dijk. Van Dijk is a laces, you know, 70-yard crossfield pass, and he's been doing it for years and drilled it with Klopp. He's not got the inside of the foot whipped through the lines, you know, making midfielders slide in, trying to win balls and missing them, you know, that level of accuracy. And also, you know, being able to whip a ball, reverse it into a space that other people have not even identified that passes on. That's midfielder level stuff. That's number 10 stuff, and it's coming from your centre half, and it is truly elite. So yeah, I'm not having that he's not in the top 10. I'm not having that he's not in the top 5, to be honest with you.
JJ, thank you. Next time we'll have to get you on longer when you ain't got like to be up early tomorrow. But thank you for coming on. Appreciate. Please make sure you go follow Jay at the Full Co as well.
Make sure.
And he's also on. Why have I forgotten the other one now? Also Spurs. That's it. Also Spurs. You can catch him and Jim as well. But JJ, thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Love,
No
man.
problem. Jay, welcome, my brother. Oh, where's he? Why is he muted? Why are you on mute for? Why are you on mute?
I was gonna say that's the most sense I'm gonna make tonight. It's good. It's been a second, boys. I've been just busy, out and about. Just came back from Cyprus, actually. Gonna say, if you go in Cyprus, I didn't know it takes 4 and a bit hours to get back. and I was like, thank God for iPads. But other than that, might have had to socialize.
Why are so many Spurs fans in Cyprus at the moment?
There's you know what I met? I met a Swedish woman, not like that.
It's Spurs
I met a Swedish
not
woman.
like that.
Not
She
like
likes
shit.
Right.
I knew I had to clarify because you men are sick bastards.
Hey,
the
black men don't travel to Cyprus, another
Hey,
country.
listen,
Just that.
black
Swedish.
men don't travel to Cyprus and
Swedish?
socialize with white Swedish women. We do, and I'll tell you why.
You do. Yeah, we do. Yes.
I know.
Show
Yeah,
that black power. That's
exactly.
what we do.
As in we. Well, what?
Yeah.
No.
There's black and blondes for a reason.
Maybe, but the context around it was these were older ladies. They were like maybe like 55, 60. Stop it. Stop
He got his sugar mama.
Stop it. This is what this is. Stop it. And I
got his sugar mama. Ooh.
Okay. At that age, do they even have any sugar left? It's more like a sweetener
well, you should
mama.
know.
Yeah, it's like a sweetener mama. Sorry if you're 60 plus, ladies. I'm sure you still got plenty of sucre for us. But
You're back from Cyprus.
Hey, yeah, so
they want to string.
Mute this man. But I came in and she was like, where are you from? And I was like, I'm from England. She's like, do you watch football? And I was like, yeah, I support Tottenham. And she's like, Swedish. I was like, yeah, we've got Kulusevski and Bergvall. And she's like, yeah, Bergvall, Kulusevski. I mean, I really should have told this story faster to avoid any sort of and maybe structured it differently. But yeah, I didn't meet any Tottenham fans, but I met fans of Bergvall and Kulusevski.
Of course.
Yeah. And the point I was literally trying to make about this fucking Romero thing, Jesus Christ, was that I honestly, our Tottenham fan base, yeah, and this is I don't want to try and be like cheeky and rude. We do a thing where we do overrate our players. Not we, actually, I don't know why I'm saying we, because I don't do it. I'm very fair.
Liar.
Yes, because the thing is like if you take Romero's body of work over the last 3 seasons, it's fair if somebody says I don't consider him a top centre back. Yeah, because even this season, there's been a couple of moments defensively. When I compliment Romero the most, it's about his on the ball. Yeah, it's not about his real time. So when people are saying, "Oh, Konate's defended better than Romero off the like not on the ball, but pure defending," last 2.5 years, there's a strong case to say Konate's defended better than Romero. Comfortably a strong case. So if you don't exactly, you're wiggling your hand, but this calm. I'm not like if somebody says that.
He's had his Swedish lover and sweet.
No. I'm saying that if somebody says that, I can argue and debate it, and you can say, but like you know, there's goals that people might say Romero could have done better. His positioning, this and that, is massively mitigated by his on the ball, and obviously defensively when he's on it, top class. But I'm just saying, obviously there's names like Gahey, Murillo. I'd know. But if you're taking a centre-back partner of the league champions and saying, I think he's better, I'm not going to die on the hill. I don't think it's particularly true, but I think I'm not going to be like, you know, Spurs fans just need to understand a little bit, like, for me, the defending aspect of being a defender is also very important. That's why Van Dijk is so good. Do you know what I mean? So I think Romero's top 5, you know, and if he's not in top 5, maybe he's very, very close. I can't really think off the top of my head 5 defenders in the Premier League better than him. But I think there's a strong argument to say that Van Dijk and the 2 Arsenal boys might sit above him, you know, and then I think it's probably Romero, but I'm not overly analysing it.
Would you put on all seriousness, would you put Van der Ven in front of Romero?
I genuinely think, like, I used to think, oh my God, how can you think Van der Ven? But he's been really, really, really consistent. Like
this season, yeah. I think
this
under Frank he's shown.
This season has been mad consistent. And even if you look at Van der Ven since he got here versus Romero, pure defending, there's an argument. There's an argument to say he's been the better defender. Like, I'm not sure overall whether I'd put him above him, but it's damn close. It's like a Vertonghen Alderweireld argument again. I always prefer Toby, and people would say Vertonghen, and I was like, no chance, because Jan was never as good until Toby got there. Jan got better when Toby got there. True. And Toby had a strong argument.
I agree with that.
The best defender in the league for like at least a year. I'd say.
Hold on. I think what with Toby and Jan, they complemented each other.
Nah. Because Toby was already lights out at Southampton. That's why we
and
still.
No. But Jan Vertonghen was still one of our best defenders.
But Toby was better. Toby was better.
No. But Toby. But as soon as Jan came out the team, and he got those injuries, Toby's career.
No.
Toby got found out.
Toby saved Jan's career. Toby saved Jan's career. Yeah, bro. Jan was doing all right.
They did. No, he didn't save his career. But I always said this. Jan was a very decent defender before Toby came into play. Yeah. When Toby came in, yes, they both elevated each other. But when Jan got taken out, Toby got found out. He did. Bro. He got found out. That's why everyone started to go, he's not the same player.
Out of those two defenders, yeah.
Jan was always a better player.
Oh my days, no.
He was.
Absolutely not.
He was.
Absolutely
even for Belgium,
not.
Jan was the better player. He was.
No chance.
Jan was the better player. Trust me.
Toby was the better player,
because as soon as Jan started going through his problems, everyone was starting to.
I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. Toby was literally the best defender in the league for like a season. Jan was never that. Like, Toby was literally the best defender in the league.
He wasn't the best defender.
He was the best. In 2006, it was 2016. In 2016, 2017,
it was both. It was both of them, but I don't think you realize
it wasn't because bro.
Again, you're going by, and this is exactly what you said about Romero. It's the long range passing.
No, I'm good, bro. Toby one-on-one, bro. No. Toby one-on-one was absolute dirt. Like, you weren't doing Toby one-on-one. He was sick one-on-one. As a one-on-one defender, he was better than Jan. 100% he was better than Jan as a one-on-one defender. If you, like, in that time period, like, honestly, like, Jan might have been a bit more mobile. Like, Jan might have had a bit of the Van der Ven about him to Toby's Romero.
Yeah.
So I guess what we're doing
this
now
is what we've got now. Yeah.
It's a similar argument. And it goes back to the point where I make about this argument, where I think you can make the argument that Vertonghen was better than Romero, but based on the ball and off the ball, Toby's better.
You know what? I think Toby had a way about himself where he never looked under pressure. He always looked very calm, if that makes sense. And I thought that was a good sign of a defender. I think Vertonghen was quite versatile in that he could also play, like Van der Ven, fullback. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So he had that recovery speed, he had that recovery pace. But in terms of on the ball, they were slightly different. I think with Jan, because he's got that fullback element about him, he was able to cross the ball, was able to strike the ball differently. Mm-hmm. Whereas I think Toby, like you said, that long range passing that he's got inside of the boot, instep, like switch of play, he used to find Dele Alli day after day.
Where Dele Alli's most of his goals came from.
You know what I mean? So that's why they were like, look, comparing the Romero over the top ball to what's his name? Bergvall, isn't it? Because it was very similar.
Very similar,
You know what I mean? But obviously Toby invented that. He was the one that he kind of started that. It was his trademark. So it's an interesting debate because everyone always has this kind of like, are you a Jan man or are you a Toby guy? Do you understand? There's always a split in between the middle. But I do agree that when you took one of them away, they weren't as good. Do you know what I mean? And I think as a partnership,
they were awesome as a partnership.
Do you know what I'm saying? I think what it is with Toby, because Toby hang around a lot more. Remember, Vertonghen was Toby hung around. I just felt like his age. He kind of aged at Spurs, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, we. But the thing that when Toby,
everyone did after Poch, everyone did. Everyone age at half the
I
potch.
suppose it's like similar to kind of Ange when in the first season, when with the kind of approach that you have to the game when you're heavily pressing and things like that. I feel like Toby went with the quality, the improvement in the team's defensive record when he got there was so vast to me. Yeah, it was like I was just chill. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't worried. It was just that after 2019, the drop was quite drastic. And it was like, but I also think the drop was because our fullbacks, we didn't get that balance right with the Walker one. His pace helped the centre backs who were starting to get older a lot, but we didn't realize that until he went. I always thought that when you look at that defense and the Van der Ven, to bring it back to 2025, when you look at Van der Ven now, classy defender, and he's playing well. He does have a touch of the Vertonghen about him. You know how he brings the ball out, how he kind of passes the ball down the line. I don't think I've ever seen this man pass the ball off the floor. Do you know what I mean? I don't think I've ever seen Van der Ven do an elevated pass.
I have, but it doesn't quite go.
It's usually long, yeah. It's usually quite long.
You know what I mean? It's normally like but it's normally like just along the floor.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
I see 95% of his passes are on the ground.
Yeah, they are. He's more of a carrier than he is a passer. Do you know what I mean?
Which is very similar to Vertonghen's profile. More of a carrier than he was per se a passer. So, I mean, we'll obviously see how it is, but I don't think Romero's form. Because I remember at the beginning of last season, like the Leicester goals and stuff like that. People were getting onto Romero a lot in the first 10 games of last season for goals. The Newcastle game, last season we lost 2-1. People put the 2 goals on him. 1, he didn't follow his man. 2, he came charging out. And now everyone's like, okay, cool. I don't mind it, but I'm almost like, it's similar to the Kulusevski Saka thing. Like, okay, you're playing well, you're doing well. Are you this level or is it form? And I think Romero's obviously a top class centre back. We'll see how it plays out though.
Oren, Romero, what's your thoughts on him? Remember, this is not a Spurs thing. This is more to do with other people not respecting him outside of Tottenham.
I can certainly see he does make those rash decisions. He does go on mad runs when he's trying to. I think that's just who he is, though. It's very difficult to say a defender who's won the World Cup and all the trophies that he's won isn't even in the top 5.
And he won a trophy at Spurs.
Yeah, and that as well. So basically, and people look at Virgil van Dijk. He makes mistake. The 2 Arsenal centre backs, they make mistakes, but we're not Spurs fans, so we don't see. We're not Arsenal fans, so we don't see when they make mistakes. Or we're not Liverpool fans, we don't see when they make mistakes. We only watch highlights of the games. So I think the mistakes that Romero makes is the same level of mistakes that those top defenders that Spurs fans will say that are better, they make as well. His passing, he's the only defender who can pass, that split that ball over the top ball. He is a lot like Toby Alderweireld. And the thing is as well, I think he's the best partnership with Mickey van der Ven. They balance each other out. Again, when Toby Alderweireld and Vertonghen, when they start getting injured and they weren't playing, that was a replacement that everyone wanted. I think we've got that. Spurs have got that replacement. They've got the Romero, who's the good passer of the ball, the aggression, and then you've got the Van der Ven, who's got the pace, the speed, and able to burst through the line. And they've already said it. They make such a good partnership together, and I think I think Romero is certainly, I would say, top 3. He does have his moments, like I said, he does rush up and all, but I think he's going to calm that down because he's a captain now, and you can tell in games where he goes to argue with a player or ref, he goes like, "Wait, I'm the captain, let's draw." And there's actually a couple of cases when he's broken up the shuffles. I think that, again, as a captain, when Spurs are not doing well, he tries to do something, which is good. Van Dijk does the same thing. So yeah, I think this again, the whole debate whether there's defenders better than him, I think that's just something for those fans to talk about and try
Uneducated fans, right? Uneducated fans.
Sort of, just fans needed to
What
tweet something.
Ash, before you carry on,
Yeah. Go on.
let me just quickly say tomorrow there is an auction for Pat Jennings' collection, which includes memorabilia from some of Pat's times at Spurs, including match-worn shirts from 1973 Cup final and a silver-plated plaque from 1967, and the game that saw him score his one and only goal in a Spurs shirt. The link is in the chat and it is pinned, and also a video to follow it up, and it's at Buds. I think it's also, as you can see at the bottom, for the Pat Jennings, please visit buds.com. You'll see it all there. And a quick video just on
some of the Spurs items in the Pat Jennings collection. Of course, in front of me here, we have 2 sets of his Football League final jerseys. A 1971, the green down there with the wonderful embroidery and the badge. Football League Cup, Wembley, 1971. And again, in those days, no numbers in the back. The keepers didn't be wearing numbers in those days. And then the market, as we keep mentioning, for the walkout tracksuit tops, fantastic Spurs. This obviously represents the shirt as well. So coming out underneath there, of course, we'll have the shirt under the tracksuit top, again, beautifully logoed on the back. Come on, you Spurs. There we go. Wonderful item. Showed a bit of age, but then aren't we all from that far on? So fantastic, fantastic items in the Pat Jennings collection. Now, super, super rare blue goalkeeper shirt. I haven't seen many of those in my, especially domestic wise. And again, this is 73. Back again at Wembley for the Football League Cup final that year. And the same again, no numbers in the back of the shirts in those days. And again, matching that will be the 73 walkout tracks as well. Just a small selection of the Spurs items in the Pat Jennings collection. Under the hammer, 15th of October. All the details, buds.com.
So if anyone's interested in that, please click the link and it goes straight to the Pat Jennings page. Ash, I'm gone, so I'll leave you with these 2 ruffians to finish off the show.
I have to go after this question as well. So,
just me. I'm gone. But
listen, guys, I just said Toby was better than Jack.
Actually, I gotta go.
I've got to go back and chat GPT so I get my stats in about tongue next time.
I was like, conclusive arguments to prove Jay wrong.
But big up, big up to everyone. Thanks to everyone in the chat, and I'll see you lot soon.
All right, cool. So now what I was gonna ask was, what did you lot think of Romero? Because we're on that topic about him getting a private jet back, and obviously it's different. There was a whole hoo-ha about him coming from Argentina last season, and like it just seems like maybe Vinay, the CEO, was moving a little bit different to the predecessor and Levy. Do you not think that it's the right move for him to be able to get a private jet? And do you think other players are looking at it like, rah?
I think he's
getting a private jet too, or what's going on?
Club captain, like I feel like club captain. You know, I have no issues with the club captain getting back on time so he can train for an important game. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's better to do things for the best than it is to save money. Like from a frugality point of view, I get it from the point of view of just organically the player comes back when the player comes back. But I also understand the merits of bringing the player back on a private jet when he's halfway across the world. Is, you know, and as well, sometimes you can do a lot of partnerships with other Premier League teams. Because you look at Arsenal, I'm sure that private jet that Romero got, he wasn't the only one that was on it. Like I'm sure he might have shared it with Arsenal players or this or that, or do you know what I mean? There would have been more material. You'll just be like, Spurs got him a private jet back, but the actual notes would probably say like, oh, maybe McAllister was on it, maybe because why is Romero getting a private jet back, and McAllister's going to go by Ryanair? Do you know what I mean? No, it wouldn't make sense.
I'm just saying, is it a change of tack for Spurs now all of a sudden? And like, how is it for other players? Like, is Papa Matasar saying, "Raw, I'm an F, you get me"?
Yeah, I'd be like,
what's going on here? Like, do you know what I'm saying?
I'd just be like, Pape, everyone loves a Jet 2 holiday. Like, relax, bro. Like, I hear it, but it's one of those things where I feel like the club captain, like I'm sure we got private jets for some. You know what I mean? So maybe it's a thing where Romero thought he should be getting it, but it was something we reserved for just, the club captain or the very, very top players that we had. Or, I think, it's a nice thing to do if we can afford it. Sure, why not? And I'm pretty sure we can afford it. So no real question.
Because it seemed to be an issue last time, innit? Remember, like he was pissed that the man weren't paying for the plane on the way.
Yeah, I remember. That's why I'm making a point where it's like, to me, I see both sides. It's like, if we can do it, like I feel like the last time, is that an oversight or is that something we're willfully not doing? Do you see what I mean? Like, and that's why I'm like, being proactive about it is good, but I don't know if it's just an oversight. Do you know, Oren, what do you reckon?
He signed a new contract, probably part of the contract.
Yeah.
He'll get a private jet from Argentina. Done. He didn't get it last season, and he wanted it. And you know what? It's actually pretty good, because then Spurs know where he's going to be, bring him back, straight back to London. He's not going to go partying with his Argentina teammates or being jet lagged. Come back on time, gets training, and I think it's no coincidence that after he signed a new contract, this has now been provided. One of the stipulations, which means that Romero has, because I think it was before the North London derby.
Yeah.
Didn't give him a private jet.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And in a way, people can look at that and go, oh, he's being greedy. Or they can look at it and go, well, that's team captain. He wants to be back in time to get rid of the jet lag, get any muscle fitness out of the way in peace and quiet, instead of having to go to the air. I'm assuming they have to go to the same airport and stuff like that. I'm not so sure, unless they fly the jet onto the Argentina football pitch. I don't know. But it shows commitment, and it's good that he's not. Because the narrative was Romero always gives his all for Argentina.
Yeah, it was.
But not. Right. But now it seems that that's kind of swinging. Not fully. It'll never fully swing, because of course. But I think Romero now looks and go, right, I can be. If you look at the RZ Ardilas and Ricky Villa, the former Argentinas, they won the FA Cup.
Yes,
he's won the European League Cup, and if he can win something else, he will literally be possibly the legend.
Yeah.
So I think there's an experienced, mature switch that's happened to him that I've certainly noticed. Again, he will still have that rush, but even that, it's kind of like, yeah, okay, the club can afford it. I've signed you a 5-year deal. I could have gone to Atletico Madrid or whatever. So this is what you're going to do for me. If you want me to be the best, give me a private jet.
Do you give credit for Vinay for sorting that out, or do you put that more on Romero? Like, which way would you guys put that on?
I put on both in a way. What is showing is that there is what's going to be interesting with Vinay. Sorry, I don't think there's going to be hardball negotiations, and I do think that going forward, January. I just have a feeling in January. And maybe it's going a little bit off topic, but it's still the same thing.
No, let's talk about it.
I think in January, I have the feeling it's going to probably build, and I don't. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, okay. But I think Semedo will be signed. I think it's going to be because with that injection of 100 million. But what a lot of people didn't pick up on, and because I watched Alistair go, and Enoch said, "This is 100 million. We're going in the club now. But if you need more money, we will give it to you." So if Spurs went and go, right, Brentford, how much? Or Bournemouth, they go 90 million. Here you go, no problem. No more hardball, no more wheeling dealing. We want this player, because again, if Enoch really wants to be the change, they go and get a player right away that Spurs need. Not, we're going to negotiate, we might miss out, So I think that Semedo, January transfer window, because a lot of people wait for the summer. Why?
Yeah, right.
Get him in January. One position, he can go. Now, that's just my feeling. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
No, I hear it. Yeah,
but
I hear it. It's interesting.
But I would say that would be such a statement from Enoch and from Vinny. get
But
that player.
if that doesn't happen, then now I'll see you outside the gate. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Well, I'll just get dread extensions. Pretend to be him.
But what, Jay? What's your thoughts on that then? Like, just off the back of that, 100 million. He reckons that we're gonna go out and we're gonna buy someone of importance, not necessarily like a Semenyo, but do you think we're gonna? Do you think January will be quiet, or do you think there'll be a statement signing, or do you think Spurs will buy one or two players like we always do? We always buy one or two in January, but it's normally like one or two just to fill the gaps in. It's never like a player that is noteworthy or a statement signing, a marquee. What do you think?
I personally, I'm like, it depends. Like, I think it really depends on the approach and I guess the development of players like Tell and Odebear before January. I think now the Savinho ship has sailed, we've got like 65, 70 million. I think if 80 million gets Semenyo, I can see us trying to do the deal. Because in summer, like, it's going to be a free-for-all.
Yeah.
But Liverpool might also try for Semenyo in January. Because you can make the argument Liverpool are lacking a winger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, but then if Liverpool do go for it, that's just a disgusting amount of money spent in one season.
That's exactly it.
So
does Liverpool have the money?
So I'm looking at it from the point of view of like Liverpool, can you really justify another 80 million on an attacker? Come the summer, Arsenal can probably shift out either Martinelli or Trossard. They'll have a space. Liverpool can probably make the argument, okay, we need a winger. Like, obviously, they'll have a space. Even teams like Chelsea will be like, hey, from a wage point of view and things like that, it wouldn't be prohibitive. They spent like 400 million on wingers. So to me, it makes a lot of sense. If we can do it for 80, do it. Like, do you know what I mean? And yeah, I think that level, that would be a big signing for us. And that kind of signing, it kind of eases a lot of the pressure of the striker, of what you get the striker to do. It's like, because you can go long to Semenyo, you can flick the ball on, you can hold the ball up. Then you've got two wings, which are incredibly ball resistant. Like, so press.
Just off the top of that, would you say that's more similar to what Brentford was doing in terms of like they had Wisa and then Bremo on the wings?
But yeah, I mean, Frank's always had a different kind of like, he's always had quite strong ball players on the wing. And you saw when he had an Eriksen on top of that, the team was really, really, really good. Because he basically had playmakers and runners and things. So for me, it's like, yeah, if you look at Brentford and they're doing the ball progression, and Buemo is very strong, but it's like if you then have everyone's having to go 1-to-1, or you're doubling up on certain players to try and get the ball off them, and it's then creating space for other players. That's what you get with a Semenyo, and to an extent, Odebear can get there because he's like, as soon as Odebear starts becoming a little bit more confident, being a bit more aggressive, because he should be in a position to be able to do his man. I think if you look at the ages of these players, they're very young. You know what I mean? They are like 20, 21, someone made a great point and I saw it on Twitter. They said that when Frank first got hold of Mbeumo, similar age to Odebear, and had nowhere near the level of pedigree or quality at that age that he was given. So I think he'll be looking at players like Tell and Odebear, and he'll know a roadmap because he's taking.
The caveat to that is, and I said it before earlier in the show, and I referred to Kingsky on this. I said it's funny because Tottenham is the type of club where the fans expect top four things. What do I mean by that? We expect top four things, meaning we need to be in the Champions League, and we need to be in the conversation of either winning cups or being like finals, as in quarterfinals, semis, and finals. And so therefore, the level of expectation for your younger players coming in has to be really of a high level. And I just think at a Brentford, you'd have more time to nurture players like an Mbeumo and a Wisa. Because remember, when he was in the Championship, he had those players and he had more time to kind of nurture them and develop them and grow with them, not just like physically on the field, but mentally as people. Because if I don't know if you lot have seen it, they actually do talk highly of Thomas Frank and how much they've helped him as actual adults in their footballing lives. So I just think, like, had this been a Brentford or had this been a Bournemouth or had this been a Brighton, Odobert, Tell, those type of players, even down to Archie Gray, they would have more time to develop and become the players that maybe Frank could probably turn them into. Not even just Frank, because it's not just Frank, it's the whole coaching team. It's Cochrane, Simon Davies, it's a lot of them, you know, that are working with these players, young players. And I just think with Spurs, because of our fan base and the way the culture is at the moment, we're like, we want things now, if that makes sense. We're tired of waiting, we're tired of being patient, and also we can't be not in the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? So that and the fact that we are talking about Semenyo, doesn't that put extra pressure on players like Odobert and Tell to perform?
See, the thing is with Tell, I think he's one for striker. Odobert, I've seen enough games from Odobert to, he can go two ways. He can either bulk up and become a beast, or stay the way he is and become another Brian Gill, because he always gets bumped off the ball. But like you said, Ash, and I was going to bring this up as well, there's no time. It is, if Spurs want to be that Champions League, Premiership, all that, unfortunately, you have to be cutthroat with young players. And you only have the young players in order to resell them. So maybe but you know, again, hypothetically, if you bring someone like Semedo, Odobert might not be, he might have more time to watch the game, analyze the game, and then take his opportunities. You know, it could help him in that way. But if he doesn't step up, because at the same time, whether it's in January, whether it's in summer, whether it's next year, if Odobert doesn't perform, he doesn't perform. He'll show he's not capable. And again, that comes with pressure. I think the only reason he's playing there at the moment is because Spurs doesn't have a left winger. If Spurs had got Lookman in, would Odobert even be playing? And that's the thing. So, yeah, as I said, I just think that the statement be made to go for him, Semedo, in January, give him a good contract, bring him in, and that will just lift everything. Because young players get inspired by good players. You know what I mean, as well. We also have to take that into consideration.
So should it be inspired by Kudus? Kudus, because Kudus is,
well, you see,
being brave on the ball. He's 1v1. He's a winger. So
yeah, see, the thing is, the one thing about Kudus, and this is the one thing that West Ham fans were saying, his end product, he always wants to beat a player more than passing it, and when he learns that. But yes, it is going to inspire. But I think Odobert doesn't have to worry about Kudus because he's in left. Kudus isn't right. If Odobert was right, then maybe it would be different. But he's not. So I think that with regards to Odobert, I think they know, like Richarlison, who knows that his position is safe for a while. They don't need to. They can afford to have a couple of bad games because they know they'll get picked again. But if someone like Semedo comes in, they go, no, we can't have that. And it's either you step up or you don't. But it has to be cutthroat now.
Would you say though that on the flip side that we've created a base where we can now just bring like 1-2 first team players in, because you've got the first team, you've got younger players who are improving. So I understand it's almost like a different mentality, but I agree. You know, when you look at the likes of Gray, Bergvall, Tell, Odobert, even like players like Yang, it's getting to be a place now, Tottenham, where it's like it's a tough place to like stay. You know, it's like that whole, oh, you can stay at Tottenham all you want, or you can do, no, you can't do that anymore. And
it's gonna get, and that's what was
gonna get tougher as well. That's why I see even Bentancur, even you know what, get a new contract, but he's like, if you consider this is the new ruthless Tottenham, I'm like,
yeah. But I think I
Go on.
think he signed because he offers experience. And signing a 4 years?
Wait,
Yeah.
Doesn't really mean anything because he can be sold in 2 years' time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Also,
So,
Basuma, I think he was the
He's-
one that was maybe on the chopping block. So maybe they felt
He's
that
not-
they
yeah.
needed to have one. I mean, they got Paulinho, who's on loan. So I
Yeah.
think they're going to make him permanent.
oh yeah.
But maybe he's taking Basuma's spot. Do you know what I'm saying? I know he
Yeah.
picked up an injury against, for Mali on the international break.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because, talking about, because I spoke about Madison briefly, and he's got his YouTube documentary.
Yeah,
I've never
it's
seen
really
it.
good.
Give it a watch.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because he spoke about Benton Core, and it kind of brought me back because when you suffer an ACL injury, you're not quite the same. You don't quite move the same. And I don't think Bentancur's the same level as he was when he was under Conte. I don't think he's moving as I don't know that extra. I don't know if it's 5% or 2 or 3%. He's just lacking something. I don't know what it is, but he's just not the same Bentancur, in my opinion. And I was just gonna say, just before you come in, could that be the same for a James Maddison? But yeah, go on.
First of all, I'd just like to give a big shout out to Queen Ellie5.
Big up Queen Nelly.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Always a pleasure, Ellie.
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah, gotta get Ellie on, man.
Yeah. What Bentancur reminds me of is like Harry Winks. Remember when Harry Winks came onto the scene? We were calling him the hybrid between Modric and Dembele. He was everywhere. And then I remember reading an article where Poch, this was after he left or his form declined, Poch said Harry Winks got a knock on his ankle. And he didn't want to play in pain, and he played safe.
Yeah.
And he was telling, no, you have to. I think that's what Bentancur does now. He's afraid to go into big challenges, and he's always waiting for something to happen. With regards to James Maddison, I don't think it'll be the same because James Maddison was never one to go into robust challenges. He will be able to still pass, but I think that the issue for James Maddison, because what happened to James Maddison, the way he passes and the way he runs, I could see it happening.
Yeah.
Like it's really weird. If you watch how he passes, it's almost like he bends his knees or he does something, and I'm like, how come he hasn't messed his knees up yet?
Yeah.
That
Very,
kind of way.
very twisty.
Yeah,
Very,
he's very, and I'm like, and then he's light on his feet. And don't be wrong, like his mindset is incredible, and you're absolutely spot on watching the YouTube videos that he's done because it shows behind the scenes of what he had to deal with. I think the last one was showcasing the whole month of him. He's now walking freely now, just doing rehab. And Bentancur did not only did his ACL, he also did his tendons as well. So that's why he was out for like a full year.
Yeah.
Bentancur was never the fastest player, but he was robust, and he wasn't. And I think that plays in the back of your mind again with Michael Owen, lightning. He talked about it. He pulled his hamstring.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's so. With Bentancur, it's that 10% that he used to put in that he doesn't anymore, which shows up.
Yeah. No, I agree with the comments. It's the way he turns, like when he gets on the ball, and that rotation that you guys are talking about. When they said his twists, he always drops the shoulder and he's on the half turn. And then even when he does pass, when he does that like Travella outside of the boot, he always kind of dips his hips and bends his knees to pass around the player, around the corner to get to this, to get to the player. And so is he going to trust his body as much? And is he going to be the one that's offloaded? And I was going to say, like, how do you lot perceive him? Do you think if Maddison was fully fit, could he play with a player like Kudus? Not Kudus, sorry. Could he play alongside a player like Xavi Simons? Or is that too much? Would that be too much?
You see, here's the thing, and I'll have to leave going here. It's going to be very interesting because when Kuleveski comes back, where does he play? And all these players that Spurs fans liked, they are now, they could be replaced by the better players. But I think with Maddison, I think he's swapping with Xavi. I don't think they can both play the same position,
But
or
one or
they,
the other. One or the
yeah,
other.
or they play Xavi on the left, which I think more and more he's like, yeah, I'm a number 10. But yeah, I think Xavi and Madison can't play, so be switched. But then again, you have Kuleveski. Where does he play when they go?
I would say that Kulezeski out of the two could work because he's more of a right-sided player.
Yeah,
Whereas Madison and Xavi Simmons, they're both the left-sided midfielder. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Oh, I
Same
think
way. Go on.
Showtime Alex wants to come on, or Mr. Box Office. Mr. Box Office can replace me. You got Lloyd and you've got Jay on. Ash, I wish you the best, my friend. Just sit back, get your popcorn, and watch those two go at each other.
Yeah, I'll send him the link now. Hold on, Alex. I'll give it to you, man. It's no problem. No problem. He's meant to be on gardening leave, but
he's waiting. He's waiting. He saw Jay and he's like, right, let's go. Ash, you're not going to upset Jay today. He's had his Swedish banana.
bread, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to shoot on here. I have to get up early. Ash, as always, great chatting with you, Jay.
You never know. He might have wanted you, you know.
Nah, he doesn't want me. He wants Jay. He wants to bring.
What if I have to? But yeah, he might.
He wants to bring that. Jay came back smiling, having a Swedish chocolate. Alex is like, here, I need to get that player down.
I feel like Oren enjoyed this moment more than I did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he loved it. Vicariously through me.
Jay went to Cyprus to have age-old Swedish banana.
I don't even know why I put my song out.
I don't want to see that ever again.
I'm sorry. I don't even know why that happened.
I know it's 11:30. I know it's late. Hey.
Late. I literally had apple juice on my lip.
Swedish apple juice. You got it. I'll leave you with that, all right? See you later. See you next Tuesday.
Jay, what are you saying though about this whole? Do you think Xavi could work with
listen, I've seen Thomas Frank with AD after death Christian Eriksen. So like I mean
say anything's possible.
It's very much like I Madison, the cooking he would have given this season. Like, because he would have just played the Damsgaard role. Yeah. Damsgaard, Eriksen. Like, I know Frank can platform a playmaker. That's why I'm not worried about Xavi Simmons. It'll be good because I've seen him platform down. Whether it takes a year, 18 months, he'll get there. Eriksen straight away. So the difference was Damsgaard, new to the league, like Xavi Simmons. Eriksen, new to the league, has a lot of movement similar to Madison. There's a lot of how Eriksen played at Brentford would be very similar to broadly similar to how Madison could play now within himself. Box office. And so for me, I look at it from we'll see. You know, we've always wanted to have good players and a good squad. And now if you basically tell me players like Madison and Kulezeski are bench players, rotation players, that's what everyone wants to see. You know, that's good. That's good. Frank's already. I've already seen Frank praise Kulezeski a number of times, so we know he likes the player. You just have to go and watch the Swedish national team to see the impact his absence is having on that team as well.
I'll speak on it, but you took the words out of my mouth.
Exactly. So,
but I'm sure Mr. Box Office will have something else to say about that. But yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah. So just to finish, I just look at it very relatively and just be like, well, at the end of the day, Madison is a very good Premier League number 10. And what I mean by that is you can see when you look at the Ezes and the Cunhas and the Xavi Simmons and the Wirtzes, it's like Prem proven is a thing, whether people like it or not. I've always been quite vocal about Prem proven. So when you have a player like Madison, who is proven a good to very good Premier League number 10, players like Cunha, players like Wirtz, you know, it makes me feel if Madison had been playing in the Bundesliga for the last 5 years, I don't even know how he would be rated. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Being fair, not even overrated Madison. I'm just like, if some players that the Premier League fans are like, oh, he's all right. Look at Elise. He's like a top 2, top 3 player in the league. Straight away.
On another level.
On another level. So to me, Maddison is still a high quality number 10. And I don't think that he was never super about his pace anyway. Do you know what I mean? So I believe he can still come back to a very high level because he wasn't overly reliant on his pace, but his role would have to change. And he would be playing like Ericsson was playing at Brentford, very, very specifically. And just to be Roberto, listen, did anyone prove themselves last season? Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that Maddison constantly. I'm saying that if you want to come to me and say Mateus Cunha is a better number 10, I'm gonna be like, is he? If you want to say Eze is a better number 10, I'll say, is he? Like all these players, if you want to judge Maddison in isolation, cool, we can be critical. But if you want to judge Maddison against all the other number 10s who play his position and then evaluate how high or low you think he is, then we can start from there. Do you see what I mean? In terms of a comparative analysis. Because when you're comparing players without comparison, it's very difficult to just be like it's very, very difficult to, and like I said, no, Maddison's not better than Bruno. Personally, I think Bruno's better than Maddison. But I understand why, if you aesthetically like playmakers that play in a certain kind of a way, that you can prefer Maddison. But I think if you watch Bruno at Portugal and do certain things that, like, I've seen Bruno run games when there's very, 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 very good players on the pitch. And so we'll see. What's going on, Mr. Box Office?
Talk away, man. Mr. Box Office, you want to come on? Question obviously is could Maddison and Xavi Simons play in the same team? But yeah, now what's your thoughts, man? I know you want to get on.
Well, listen, the thing is though, yeah. Welcome to hello everybody. Yeah, your Professor of Truth has had to turn up, even though he should be in bed.
Professor of Truth, that's new.
No, it's always been the same. It's always been the same. I had to drop one name because I don't want to get copyrighted. But anyway, moving on. Yeah, the reason why I'm coming on is it's interesting. We're talking about Maddison and we're talking about Simmons and all these players, because all I'm hearing about is Matis Tel and Alderbear. And for me, I just think there's revisionism in this fan base at the moment, really, for me. You know what I mean? I think there's revisionism because for me, I don't see any difference than we were talking about. Remember when we were talking about these players that might as well get back? Lucas Moura, Lamela, Gil. Remember all those players that had potential? Remember Bergwijn? Remember Bergwijn?
Yeah, I remember Bergwijn.
Let's be honest here. Bergwijn has done more in his career at Tottenham, and he struggled, than some of these players right now. But I'm told that we need to give Alderbear a lot of time. But we've got 100 million to spend next season. So do you think we've got time to be wasting on Alderbear?
Not really.
And Matis Tel?
Yeah, that was a conclusion we kind of came to at the end of it. That's why I kind of threw it up. I was like, at the end of the day, if we are saying we want to be a top 4 club and we want to be in the cups, win cups, because that's what Ange did. So Thomas Frank's got to do the same, if not better. Then, boy, it's not looking good for the young players, isn't it? And I said, if it's been a different club, if we'd been a Brighton, Brentford, where the culture was slightly different, you've got more time to let these players develop. I said, even like Frank, he developed, because Jay brought up Mbumo and what's his face, Wisa, isn't it? Those guys developed under him in the Championship, and then they came up with him, so he had more time with them. At Spurs, I'm not sure our fan base will give these type of players time, even if they're young. Doesn't matter if you're young. If you're young enough, if you're good enough, you're young enough. If you're good enough, you're old enough. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
You've got to compete. And like, I'm sorry, but like, I'm hearing arguments with the people like Johnson. He had 3 take-ons in a start. That's improvement to Spurs fans right now. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? I'm sorry, no, I'm sorry, but I'm getting to the point now where the stats are just used as an argument, just a straw man's argument. Honestly, because I'm watching games and I'm watching games. I'm watching games and I don't see it. Oh, Matt Tell had a good international break. Great. Why do I don't see that at Tottenham?
Mhm.
Why do I not see that at Tottenham? He had a couple of shots, couple of good moments against Leeds, and now all of a sudden oh, he's competing.
Mhm.
No, man, I'm sorry. I don't get it. I don't get it for me. And that attack is the reason why we are boring to watch.
So let me ask you this, Mr. Box Office. Who right now would be most important? Who would improve us the most out of these players? You've got Kulusevski and you got Solanke. Out of those two, who's improving us the most? You have to pick one. You have to pick one. You can't sit on the fence.
I have to pick. Even though
I know. You just say it
even
and give
even
you a reason. And give you a reason.
even though I'm not too sure. Even though I'm not his biggest fan, it has to be Kulusevski at the minute.
And
Because
do you agree with Ellie, Queen Ellie? Sorry, and she's saying Kulu should play on the left wing. He's naturally left-footed, so he won't have to check like when he plays on the right.
This is a difficult one for me, really. Probably he's better on the wing, but then he's been playing good in the centre, hasn't he? But then it's just trying to fit. It's a difficult one, really, because then you're fitting everybody in different parts. Really, for me, that's the thing. I think unfortunately he will be. I think probably he will be more likely to be on the wing in this team at the moment. If I'm trying to picture it at the moment, really, for me, right?
Mm.
Okay, I'm still advocate at the moment. I know it's not going to happen this season. I think Kudos should be in the centre. I've said it because I just think he looks like a Dembele in the waiting for me. That's it for me, right?
Mm.
Because I think he can create more. I know people say that he's got a good partnership with Poro. Probably that's the way we're going to go, but I think he's too still there for me. Yeah, he's been good. He's been our best attacker. I just think the left side. I think at the moment, I think it could be an idea to have Kulu there because at the moment I don't see on the left because at the moment, and then you have Kudos on the right at the moment for this season. That might be an idea, and then you've got obviously Javi Simmons in the centre. That probably will be an option as well for me. Because unfortunately for me, like I said, I don't think the wingers have impressed me right now. For me, you know, we've seen moments from them. For me, like Javi Simmons, Johnson. Who else have we got?
Do you agree with what Roberto's saying? He's saying he doesn't think he releases the ball quick enough to be a number 10 in terms of Kudos.
I don't think it's just number. I don't think it's number 10. I think it could be number 8.
What's the difference?
I think he can get up the pitch, and I think he's got that. I think he's got that skill to pace, slow down a play as well, because he's got the skill, and I think he's got that quality that Dembele's got. He just reminds me of Dembele, because Dembele was a winger when he started at Tottenham. Then Poch made him into a centre midfielder. I think he's got the quality to do it. That's just me. I think he reminds me of that, but I don't think it's going to happen this season though.
So wait. So ideally, you're saying Kudos in the 8.
Yeah.
And then who's in the number 10? Who would you have a 10?
Probably Javi Simmons.
And then who's on the right? Who's on the right?
That's a toss up at the moment. I don't know at the moment. But then you could have
who's on the left? Who's on the left?
Kulu on the left.
Put Kulu on the left.
Yeah, or you could have Kulu on the right, and then have
Kulu on the right.
Or the Bear if he's still there at the moment. You see what I'm saying? I'm kind of this is just thinking just out the box a little bit for me, because at the moment I don't know whether the attacking setup is geared for possession. I think this is what I'm aiming for, more possession football at the moment.
You know, like I was reading through some stats and it said that Spurs are the 7th highest team in terms of keeping the ball, in terms of possession.
But what do we do with the ball?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
That stat means absolutely nothing to me because I watch us with the ball and we're terrible.
I'm just saying, out of all the Premier League teams, Manchester United, they're 8th. They're one place below us. But in terms of, I think we have 54 to 55% of the ball.
Well, look where Manchester United are at the moment in the stable.
Yeah, I know that. I know that. But I'm just saying, in terms of like having the ball, Spurs are like one of the teams that have the ball quite the 7th team the most, 7th highest possession out of teams.
Because we basically when we have the ball, we just pass it around. We don't do anything, and the only reason why we get a chance at the moment, people are saying that we score from open play, which you could say yeah, but
you're saying you think putting Kudos in there is going to help us in that position.
I think this is something that I would say that is going to maybe happen next season. I don't think it's going to happen this season. I think he's going to be more focused on being on the right, and then they're going to try and focus on the flanks. Like you came to that conclusion yourself, right? Right, because that was you, yeah. I would say I would say that he'd be more focused on the right, and then I think the person that's going to be more used in the centre now would be more Bergvall sort of player. I think Bergvall either be in the number 10 role, and then you got Javi Simmons. You could either have Javi Simmons. I think Javi Simmons will either be on the left or in the centre, right? And then you're going to have to toss it up because I don't think, unfortunately, Bergvall is cut out to be in the number 8 role in that double pivot with either Paulinho or Bentancur, because he's not strong enough to do that sort of role. It's too much for him, right?
Well, wait, what's your midfield again? Your midfield's what?
So I think at the moment, for this season, at the moment, as we for the early part of this season right now, right, you got our midfield at the moment will be Bentancur, Paulinho. Then you either have Javi Simmons in the centre, or you have Bergvall, right? If you have Bergvall there, right, you have Javi Simmons on the left, then you have Kudos on the right. Right, okay. and then it really is a toss up between what you're gonna do regarding Kulusevski if he comes back. Then they can just fight out between them all, really, basically. And then the striker role, that's for anybody that can who is on top form at the moment, isn't it? Really, you know what I mean?
And who's that for you though? Who would be your number?
I've got no idea, mate.
We've got 4 strikers there. We've got Tel.
You could toss it up right now, mate. As far as I'm concerned, because you know my feelings on that below average Emil Heskey, aka Richarlison. You know what my feelings are on him. And Solanke hasn't pulled up any trees. And I'm okay. Tel had an okay-ish game against Leeds. We still need to see more. Oh yeah, I forgot Sarr. Yeah, Sarr's fighting it out as well, isn't he? You know what I mean? Sarr's fighting it out as well. So I completely forgot about Sarr. Completely forgot about Sarr.
Well, the thing is with Sarr, there's AFCON coming up. He's going to be in AFCON, so I think that's the reason why. Like, yeah, he had a good start to the season. He picked up a knock, and then Bergvall came in. He was performing well, and so yeah, it's a toss up between the two. But I just think, when it comes to like December, January, he'll be off. He'll be off to AFCON, and we'll have to focus on the other midfielders that we have at the moment.
Well, again, it gives advantage to some of these midfielders that to see if they can claim their place in.
Well, yeah, this is it. I think Sarr's he's got a chance now. It'll be interesting to see who he starts against Aston Villa. Do you think like would you rather have Tell over Richarlison up top against Aston Villa coming up? Because that's our next game. Previewing.
It's a toss up, mate. I'm being honest with you. Being honest with you. It's just a toss up. What's your feeling? I'm being honest with you now.
That's what I'm asking you.
I couldn't make a choice, mate, because they're both.
Do you think Thomas Frank
bang
looks at it and says like, all right, we won our last game. Our last game was against Leeds before the break.
I'll give it to Mattis Tell because he had the shirt against Leeds, but that's it. I'm not like sitting there like because I watched the thing that's lovely about watching the games, yeah. You have to watch the full match to actually see things, yeah, right? So then when you see highlights and you don't see that much of the player, then you see the whole game, you're like, okay, see good moments, yeah, cool. Yeah, cool. So then it's like you're sitting there thinking, yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, you see what the moments were, but the whole match is not a complete match. You know what I mean? Not a complete performance. You get what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when you say that that's a good striker. Example I'll give you right now, right, is Gordon. You know Gordon for Newcastle, yeah? He came out a hot property at Everton, yeah? Right? He's developed. That's development for me, yeah? Getting better every single season, yeah? Yeah, he might have his mistakes. He might make mistakes and stuff, right? And do something stupid and get red card and sent off. But most of the time, he's influencing games. He's influencing games, and he's making other players look good around him. You get what I'm saying?
How much would you spend on him?
Huh?
How much would you spend on him, on Gordon?
Well, I'm just putting an example out there, but I'll say that he's in this market today, you'd be like over a £60 billion player, maybe possibly, because you know look at the players that are going for that rate at the moment. You know what I mean? Because Kudos went for that sort of rate, right? So I'm just looking at it like this. I just think that he's, you know, I don't see anybody influencing games. You know what I mean? I just think they're just part of a team, and you can see they're linking well with each other, and you can see they're working on stuff. But when it comes to really like being that guy, you know what I mean, making an impact, you know what I mean, like I just don't see it at the moment. I don't see it with these players at the moment, you know what I mean, and the only one that's done it for me is Kudos at the moment, and I still think Kudos can do so much more. That's the thing at the moment. I think that's where I'm saying why I can't put my money on or my head on somebody like saying, "Oh, is Kudos good? Is Tell really going for the shirt?" I don't think he is. He's working hard. Great, Blue Peter badge. You know what I mean? Blue Peter badge, isn't it? You know what I mean?
One thing I say to you, Mr. Box Office, is like if Tell's gonna do what he's doing, that's all you can ask. Like if that's what for me, that's all you can ask as a 20-year-old kid, left out the Champions League squad, had a stinker first game of the season, Super Cup. Fans were on his back, getting racially abused. The kid's done everything you could ask of him. Yeah, he's turning it round. Even if you don't think he's turned it round, he hasn't turned it round,
man. He hasn't turned it round.
Well, listen, I'm saying to you, yeah, his performances are steadily getting better. He's scoring goals.
Based on what?
Based on the fact his performances are steadily getting better. The manager
is steadily getting better doesn't mean anything to me, bro. Because like
I said, that's it means something to Thomas Frank. So that's
yeah, but okay.
So you're important to me. Thomas Frank is important to Matthias Tell. Do you see what I mean? So
yeah, I get you, but
your opinion about Matthias Tell is wholly irrelevant. If we want,
I get you, but I'm saying to you at the moment, based on what? Because I'm looking
based
at
on the fact his performances are improving.
He's improved on what? He's shooting more.
No, I'm
that should be a strike. That should be a standard for a striker.
Yeah, listen,
right?
it is. But okay, but you say it should be standard. Then
what's Jermaine Defoe doing?
No, Mr. Box Office, you got to be fair here. If that's just standard, how come Gyökeres has only scored in 2 games for Arsenal? How come Sesko's only scored in 2 games?
That's why they're getting criticised.
Well,
That's
exactly.
why they're
But
getting
my point
criticised.
is all of those players are older, more established, and they're struggling too. The Premier League has the one thing Premier League has is good defenders. Yeah, most teams have dock off 6'2", big as hell, fast as hell centre backs. Yeah, and you're small 20-year-old boy coming into this league playing back to goal. Against
I'm going to give him a handkerchief then, bruv. I'll give him a
That's
handkerchief.
fine, bro.
Let me give him a handkerchief and give him
wait
the
for
violin
Petty
as well,
Patrick's
yeah?
argument, that's
Thank you
absolutely
for...
fine.
Let me give him the violin for him then as well,
You
yeah?
don't need
That
to give him the
come into
violin.
the Premier League,
Bro, listen,
knowing
this kid is showing he don't want you to feel sorry for him. He don't need it. Yeah, he's gonna. Yeah, exactly. So my point is we can acknowledge that he's making these steps and praise him for the steps, if not the output yet. That's what I'm gonna do. What do you mean leave age out? Why the fuck would I leave age out of it? Yeah, why the fuck?
Because I'm sorry, but
why the fuck would I leave? Why the fuck would I treat a 20-year-old who's just
straw man's argument here? Straw man's argument here. Age.
You guys are dumb.
No, it's not dumb. It's not dumb. It's not dumb because no. But look at the ages of Foden. Foden was no. We're not doing it.
No, stop.
No, we're not doing this.
Hold on.
We're not doing this.
Are you talking or am I talking now? Because
okay, go on then. Go on then. Dig a hole for yourself. Go dig a hole for yourself then.
Go on.
Go dig a hole for yourself. Go say it.
Listen, nobody here is saying we shouldn't buy other players. Nobody in this conversation has said don't buy other players. But if you genuinely want me to take the age of a 20-year-old out when I am critiquing his performances, you're fucking insane. Yeah. And not only are you insane, you are providing a horrible environment for these players to get better and grow. Nobody's saying he's 20, therefore I'm going to give context to his performance. I'm not doing that. What I'm saying is his development and around the performances, yeah, you got to give him some lax. You got to give him some leniency. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be other players fighting for his shirt. He got left out of the Champions League squad, for God's sake. He got left out of the Champions League squad because we have other players, yeah? If you're judging...
It would have been worse. It would have been worse if Maddison was fit. It would have been worse if Kulu was fit. It would have been worse if Dragonson was fit. It would have been worse.
I'm sorry. This is worse. It would have been worse. Bro, you know what? I don't really care. Yeah, I don't care because the beautiful thing about Levy leaving is that you can be positive about Tottenham and no one can say shit to you. Yeah, they can't say you're a Levy lover, you're this, you're that. Nah, bro, I'm just supporting the players. I'm just supporting a 20-year-old kid who's come to this country, who's starting at a club that had a lot of shit going wrong last season and developing. You don't want me to use age. Okay, cool. Therefore, Williams Barnett's debut wasn't good enough. Wasn't good enough. Absolutely not good enough. Yeah, I know he's only 16. I know he's only 16/17, but it absolutely wasn't good enough. Absolute
what happened
toilet.
to him then?
Absolute toilet. No, toilet. Shit.
What happened to him though, Jay?
Not good enough.
Jay, what happened to him?
No, you guys, it's zero tolerance on age, right?
But Williams Barnett, what happened to him though? What happened to Williams Barnett? Williams Barnett will go on loan. Williams Barnett will go on loan. That's the point, right? He's coming into an environment where it's competitive, right? Okay, it's a ruthless game. That's unfortunately, and it would have been worse if there was other players that were fit. So he was lucky, right, that some of the other players weren't fit. No, I shouldn't say that. But because the other players weren't fit, there was an opportunity for him to get into that Champions League squad. He was always going to get left out of that squad because he wasn't showing any impact. And like I say, it's a ruthless this game. That's the problem here, right? So if he's not getting any better, if he's not competing, and I'll go back to the point I said as well, right? Juan Foyth was young.
Yeah.
Right? He was a defender. Look at him now.
It took him 8
years. And he got left out of the Champions League squad as well. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm not hearing this excuse.
I don't understand your point here. What exactly is your point?
Well,
Like,
what I'm
as in,
saying is that we're saying, oh, he's working hard. He's working hard.
he is
Who
working
cares?
hard.
The
He
point
is
is,
working hard.
I work hard every single week. That's
That's
great.
fine, bro.
I don't get
I'll tell you, you're
rubbed
working
flowers.
hard. Well done, Mr. Box Office. You're working
So
hard
I
too.
work hard
Are
as
you
well.
happy?
So that doesn't mean I should get everyone
Whether or
to
not
feel
you're,
sorry for me.
you're happy
You know
about
what I
me
mean?
telling you you're working hard, I can acknowledge you. Listen, Mr. Box Office, how many times have I told you over the last 1 year that I appreciate your style of debating? I appreciate the way you chat. I appreciate the changes in terms of how you interact with people. And I think you do a great job. How many times have I told you that without being prompted of my own volition?
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay,
I'm starting the point, bro.
I'm capable of praising people for putting in the work. Whatever the outcome is of you putting in the work is a difference from me praising you for putting in the hard yards. I don't need to compliment on the output yet, but I can still say, hey, well done. You're doing the things, you're putting the work in, whatever happens will be, but I can praise that aspect of it. Is that not okay for me to do?
No, because you're making excuses. You're making excuses for people here.
Even
I, right? Well, Alex, not Mr. Because Alex and Mr. Boxer are different two people. But
Yeah.
even I, have to look at myself and say, right, okay, if it's not good enough, I've got to look at myself and say that's not good enough today. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because the thing is, I still got to put food on the table for myself. Yeah. Right. Because if I'm not doing that, I'm running out of money. I'm going to be homeless. Yeah. So that's the point. You know what I mean? So I'm sorry. I'm not having it. Right. So I'm sorry. These players are getting it easy. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Right. And unfortunately, in this day and age right now, the younger you are now, there are young players out there that are doing it right now. You got Fritzi Romano promoting them every single day, every single week on his bloody YouTube channel. Yeah, so this is a top player. This is a top player.
Before Jay comes in, I'll just throw my question in there, and that is for a striker, because we're saying Tell's a striker, right? Is that we're profiling him, or are we saying he's a winger?
Sorry,
I see Tell, right? Tell, he's a centre forward.
Yeah. Well, I think he's either. I don't know what he is, to be honest with you.
Let's say Tell's a centre forward. I think Frank sees him as a centre forward, or I think at least Tell is saying he's a centre forward. He's a number 9 for France under 21s. He plays as a centre forward.
Yeah.
In terms of, I'd say year 1. This is his first season, full season, at a top 6 club. What do we expect from him in his first full season in terms of a centre forward output? How many goal contributions? What does that look like? How many goals does he get?
Yeah.
Go on, Jay.
Well, I'm saying, like, okay, look at his ranking, pecking order. You can make the argument that he's 3rd choice left winger, 4th choice striker.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because he didn't make the Champions League squad. So therefore he can't be in the top 2 options or 3 options for either. We got more. So to me, I'm like, okay, straight away, 10 to 15, 10 GA, he's had a good season. Yeah, he's had a good season because you got to look at the amount of minutes and exposure he's going to get based on that. And the thing is that if he's getting that level of GA, it means he's playing well enough to be sticky in the side. Now, I'm not trying to say, like, I'll watch Gittins. Like, this is my thing is I don't judge 20-year-olds in isolation. Yeah, I judge them against other 20-year-olds. Yeah, that's why Tell is so good. He's one of the best under 21 players in the world. Yeah, that's what it is, because he captains literally one of the best under 21 sides. Right. So France are top 2, top 3 under 21 teams in the world. So it's just scalability. We know that if Matthias Tell is coached well, based on his age mates, if he's 25, 26, he should be a very good player. Now, I appreciate that between now and then, the impatience is no one wants to wait 5 years for a player. So he has to speed that development right up. Like, speed that up right up. Otherwise, arguably, he won't be at Tottenham. Cool. Get that. 100% understand that. Not giving him defenses. But I'm saying, if you think the captain of France under 21, who are literally one of the best countries in the world for talent, isn't a top talent, you're insane. You're insane. because that country is a conveyor belt for the best talent in the world. And he's the captain of the under-21 side. He is the man for them. So for you to say that he's not clearly a top player at that age group, level,
based on what you said, right? Why is Richarlison in the side before Matis Tell?
Because versus his age mates, versus the rest of the world. What do you mean? No, I'm just saying.
Because I'm not being funny.
Okay, it's like banging our head against the wall. I just explained versus his age mates, he is one of the best in his age. Yes, exactly. He doesn't play versus his age mates. Yeah.
Okay, but you can
30-year-olds, 28-year-olds.
Yeah, but unfortunately, right, if he's going to get into this side, he's got to compete with Richarlison. Yeah. Right? Why is he not getting above Richarlison? Because let's be honest here, Richarlison is all he's good for is heading the ball and throwing on his backside. That's all he's done this season. And then he had one moment in the Burnley game. That's all he's had. Right? So let's be honest here, right? If Matis Till had anything about him, he would have taken that spot from Richarlison.
So you're telling, if he had anything about him, listen, bro, this is a player who got left out of the Champions League squad.
Yeah, but why did he get left out of the Champions League squad?
Yeah, because we said we have better options.
Exactly. So that's the point.
And you're talking about our 7th choice attacker like you're talking about Richarlison. No, you're talking about a 20-year-old at the start of his career who is being fairly criticized for his performances. I'm not asking you to baby him. I'm asking you to keep the context of he's improving. And you can say,
yeah, but how is improving doesn't mean baby steps, bro. You can't.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Acknowledging improvement is just that. Acknowledging improvement. I'm not saying he's a world beater. I'm not saying he'd start for fucking Man City right now. All I'm saying is he's improving. He had a difficult situation. He's working through it, and I can see the shoots of growth.
Okay, okay. When we're talking about this, I'm not going to talk about the outside things, about what you just mentioned about the whole thing about, you know what I'm talking about, yeah? Right.
Yeah.
Let's keep that out, right?
Okay.
Right, because that's a different conversation, yeah.
Okay.
And this is a football program. We can't go there, right? But what I'm talking about now, right? As far as I'm concerned, you have not answered that question. You've not answered that question. You just said, oh, you made the excuse about age. Why is he not competing with Richarlison? Because let's be honest here.
He is competing with Richarlison.
No, he's not competing with Richarlison.
Who started our last Premier League game?
Yeah, because he felt sorry for him. Let's be honest here.
Oh!
Sorry for him.
Okay,
he felt sorry for him because he needed game time. That was it.
Wait, don't you think, to be fair, don't you think Richarlison maybe wasn't playing too well, and maybe that was the reason why Tell got the chance?
Well,
or maybe he saw something in training, and he was like, maybe Tell will be better suited. Because I do think Richarlison wasn't playing well.
It's not. He hasn't like set the world alight. Let's be honest here. You know what I mean? He's not like I said, Ashmatic. Yeah, if he was doing complete performance, right? Okay, we could say it, but unfortunately, it's just not enough. I mean, I'll give examples, right? Gareth Bell, right?
You would have sold Gareth Bale.
No.
You would have shut up, Mr. Boss. You would have sold Gareth Bale for $5 million.
No, I wouldn't.
You're talking shit. You 100% would have sold Bale.
I would never have sold him. Because the thing is, Gareth Bell,
I can listen to you talk about Tell and think you would have sold Gareth Bale.
I would have not sold Gareth Bell. I would have not sold Gareth Bell because I would have not been that ruthless, right? Because he's still showing me a little bit of potential because he had 3 kicks in him, right? Okay, he had 3 kicks in him, and when he really got going, right? It wasn't just one game. It wasn't just 2 games. When he got going, And
this guy was inches away from going to Birmingham. Bro, he was inches away from going to Birmingham for $3 million. And you're trying to tell me?
We've seen nothing from Tell. Let's be honest here, yeah?
I've seen nothing from Tell. Guy scored on his debut. Guy scored on his debut against Aston Villa. On his debut. Man just scored in a win for us just this last game. You're saying
because it was deflected, bro. That's all it was.
Oh, okay, deflected.
Deflected.
You don't count no more, yeah?
Deflected. Cool. So let's not do that, bro.
All right, cool. Well, don't do what? He scored a goal. Let's not do that. Let's not take his goal away because it took a slight
yeah,
deflection.
he scored the goal. Yeah, well done. Give him a blue Peter badge, bro.
Well done. He helped us win a game.
Blue Peter badge. Blue Peter badge for doing his job, bro.
You just want to diminish everything. He scored
No,
a
I'm not
goal.
diminishing
It helped
everything.
us
I'm
win a
being
game.
real.
Well done. Yes, well done.
Let me go back to the question I asked Jay.
Yeah.
As a forward, some people don't like the way I framed him as a number 9, even though he said himself he sees himself as a number 9, and he played for France under 21s as a number 9. And I do understand he's more of an inside forward for those who may disagree with me. But how many goal contributions do you think he should get for this season?
I was saying 10.
You said 10. What does box office say? What's your?
I hate this question about contributions, man. I hate this because
Goal. All right. So goals. How many goals?
Okay. I'm gonna say a higher number now because I'm gonna say a higher number because I think unfortunately assists and goals, it could be a tap in, and assist can just be just a straight pass or something like that. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna say 20 30 goal contributions.
But are you saying 20 off the bench? Is that what you're saying? Or 20 as a starter? I need some context.
Both. I've got to say both, mate. Because the thing is, I'm more about someone that sees things, bro. I don't do that contributions thing. Yeah, I can't do that. I can't.
What
do
you
that,
need to see? Because he's obviously I don't know about you, but I thought a forward's role. Obviously, there's different forwards. Solanke's slightly different to what Richarlison does. Richarlison's different to what Matis Tel brings, in my opinion. And I'll give an example. I think with Solanke, he's better at linking play. He's better at hold-up play than Richarlison. Richarlison's more about chaos. You know what I'm saying? He's more about anarchy in the box, shithousery. He's the one that could get on the end of things. He's more of that type of forward. Solanke doesn't have that kind of edge to him. So those are the two different forwards there. I think Matthias Tel is slightly more dynamic than both of them.
I do think he needs to bulk up, though. If I'm really honest with you, if he wants to play that forward role, right? Because the thing is, I think Matthias Tel at the moment is that there was a Jermaine Defoe and there was a Robbie Keane, right? And they had the same problem that Matthias Tel had, being small and diminished, but they were able to maneuver themselves and be effective as the way they played. Robbie Keane was brilliant at it. So I just think for me,
do you see Tel as the finished product, or do you see him?
He's nowhere near the finished product, and that's why I'm saying he's only got this season.
Are you judging him on the fact that he's not the finished product, and you expect the finished product to be at Spurs, and maybe he?
Well, no, I just think you just need to do better. You know what I mean? I think the thing is, though, you're competing in a very, very difficult league. You know what I mean? And I get that where people are saying that there's Gorka that's not doing well, and then I forgot his name now. At Manchester United at the moment,
Sesko.
At the moment, but they've got their own pressures as well. You know what I mean? That their fans are coming down on them as well. You know what I mean? So I do understand that. At the moment, strikers wise, it's very difficult. It's a difficult market at the moment for them. And when you're going into a club and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're struggling. But I think what we need to see is real progress and consistent progress. You know what I mean?
And what does that look like to you? That's what
for me is being very more impactful in the team. Whether that's goals, assists, making them look better around you, like what Kudos is doing at the moment, and affecting the team and being consistent with it.
Do you think he could ever get to that level? Is what
I don't think he will do.
Okay, cool.
No, I don't think he will do. And I think you'll see an impact like you're seeing with Kudos at the moment, right? And I'm not going to make a big deal about him because I still think he can do more. I think the problem is with Kudos at the moment, because he's so effective, other teams are targeting him and doing what they're doing with him. You know what I mean? Putting two players on him, so he's finding it very difficult. You know what I mean? And then the other players are not really helping him out. So I think we need to see more of an impact. Like Matoma's done at Brighton, like Mente has done at Brighton. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like Asensio did at Aston Villa when he came in January.
I think
Like
Mente is a good example.
Mente's a good example.
Yeah.
You
I
know what I
think
mean?
he's
It's
the
just
best example. Was
like
he?
Kulusevski did when he came at Tottenham. You know what I mean? You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
he had that
21.
impact.
He was
You
21
know,
when he came, right?
yeah, 21. Yeah,
Mm.
that's an impact.
Mhm.
But at the moment, I don't think I can't just go on little moments. It just doesn't work for me. I'm not 5 or
Well,
10.
so wait,
10 you know what I
what do
mean?
you say to that? Because that's a good point. That Mr. Box Office brings up there. Kulusevski was 21, right, when he
Yeah,
came to us,
yeah.
and I believe Matthias Tell. How old is he? 21 as well.
He's 20.
I thought Odegaard was 20.
I can't remember. I don't
Matthias
know.
Tell's 21,
They're
right?
young
Wait,
anyway. They're young.
Maybe, I think Tel might have recently turned 21. I'll have to go.
and but Kulusevski was 21 when he came to us, right?
I think Kulusevski was 22.
Was he 22?
I think he was 22.
So he was Xavi's age.
Yeah.
Well,
Tel's 20, by the way.
he is 20, yeah.
He's 20 until April next year. So
Okay.
he's a young 20. So he's only just turned 20.
So is there a difference then, guys? Is there a difference between an age and experienced? Because you got Xavi Simons, who's played PSG, obviously didn't get many minutes there.
Yeah.
But after PSG, he went over to was it PSV? And he got experience there. So he had a whole season at PSV, which Tell hasn't got. Then he went over to Leipzig and he got another 2 seasons underneath his belt. So he's got 3 seasons of experience. Whereas Tell, I believe, he was in Bayern Munich's B squad or the academy. And he came off the bench a few times, made a few appearances. But for Spurs is where he's made the most appearance for. So he hasn't got that much league experience compared to maybe a Kulusevski. Kulusevski was obviously playing at was it Udinese?
Yeah, no, I think it's
Atalanta.
either Sampdoria or
Atalanta.
Atalanta. So it was Atalanta, Parma,
yeah.
and then it was
Parma, yeah.
then it was Juventus.
Juventus,
And then it was Tottenham. So it's kind of hard to compare Kulusevski, who's 22 when he came to us, to maybe Matthias Tell. Maybe Matthias Tell needs more minutes underneath his belt before we could fully judge him. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he's taking a spot, mate, and I keep on saying it, but it's like some of these youngsters that we've got, right, that we had to put on loan. That, let's be honest here, to be fair to Thomas Frank, he's been a bit ruthless with and saying, "Well, I ain't got time for you right now," right? If we're gonna do this with Matthias Tell, right, saying, "Oh, we need time," what are we gonna say to some of those youngsters that we said that we didn't have time to give them time? You know what I mean?
Well, I think the thing for me, Mr. Boxoff, is not that. I think one can say 2 things can coexist at the same time. Matthias Tell can need time, but Tottenham might not be able to give him the time he needs. Yeah, I'm not saying either one is incorrect. I'm saying that when I'm judging the player, it's like you can look at, say, a Hudson-Odoi, for example, a Solanke. Some of these players come into their prime at 25, 26, 24. Injuries, blah, blah, blah. That's not to say that we won't move on without the player. The player has to improve at a rate that the club and the fan base accepts in order to stay at the football club. That, to me, is... I shouldn't assume that people think that I'm a logical person. So to me, that's logical. To other people might need me to actually say that out loud for them to understand my position. My position is a 20-year-old player who is now being given minutes in the most difficult league in the world, in one of the most difficult positions to play, does need time to season. Of course. Now, will he get that time at Tottenham? That's a different conversation. That's a different debate. But considering where he was at, yeah, after the Super Cup final, to how he's slowly, climbing back up and so I'm gonna praise him for that. I'm not going to praise him for his performances being brilliant or this or that. I'm going to say he's getting there, and the mentality of this player is big. This is a big mentality player. To me, this is not a huge amount of time since the Super Cup final, having been left out of the Champions League squad. And now you're getting starts in the Premier League, you're scoring goals, you know, you're captain of your under-21s, you're contributing. I'm sorry, I can never do anything other than support that player wholeheartedly and really, really hope that he hits his heights, because he's showing the mentality levels, Mr. Box Office, that you want to see in players. I'm not even talking about his performance level. His mentality, that's what you want. You want strong-minded players who water off a duck's back. You know what? You don't want none of that woe is me. I'm probably more concerned about Mateus Tell criticism than he is. Do you know what I mean? I probably care more about it than his mother, because I want him to do the best for Tottenham and himself. I will be honest, when I first, you know, the arrogance, the confidence, chip on his shoulder, yeah, keep that. I love that, you know, because you're going to need that to succeed in the Premier League. Because if your own fans are telling you, yo, you ain't good enough, you need to leave. I'm not saying that you're saying this, but I'm saying that fans saying this in general. You're going to need your own mentality, and you're going to need to keep your own counsel to be able to get to where you're meant to get to. So that's why I'm going to praise the player, you know?
Fair
Right.
enough.
I love that speech, but as far as I'm concerned, words mean absolutely nothing to me. And all I will say is, I will come back to that argument. I know he's older. But you said about age. Eberechi Eze was young, and he got turned down every single way. He got turned down from everywhere. Then he went to QPR, bossed it. Then he went to Crystal Palace, bossed it, right? And now he's at Arsenal, turned down Tottenham. So what we're going to say to that then? You know what I mean? He didn't feel sorry for himself. He had the real mentality. You know what I mean? Now he's the best footballer that everyone loves, the most lovable footballer going. You know what I mean? You know, so for me, I'm sorry, I'm not hearing this about Mattis Tell. I'm sorry, I'm not hearing it. Right? As far as I'm concerned, he's got this season only, and if he doesn't do it, bye-bye. Order bear, bye-bye. Because I'm sorry, time's ticking. Time's ticking. And there's no excuses. You mentioned the guy that left the club, the chairman, yeah, that left the club, right? And this is going to be on Frank. Because like I say, right, the spotlight is on him now, and he knows it.
No, I think it's on the Lewis family still.
But he knows it. He knows it because he knows that now there's no criticism of what's going upstairs now, isn't it? You know what I mean?
There is.
Well,
January, I think people will be watching Hallelujah.
Regardless, though, yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter though, regardless if it is, because the thing is though, they've said they're going to give him money, right? So regardless, even if it doesn't happen in January, it will probably happen in the summer. So, like, he hasn't got time. He hasn't got time, you know.
I think long term, you're right though. I think long term, if Frank ain't delivering if the Lewis family all of a sudden starts spending big dough on the club, and Frank's not bringing what their expectations may meet long term, then he will be on a chopping block for sure.
And also, right, they don't need to spend money if they don't trust the guy that's in charge of the football right now. You get what I'm saying? That says a lot, right? If they're not spending money, that says a lot about trusting who they've got in charge at the moment.
I hear it.
You know what I mean? They don't have to do it.
I think it. No, not necessarily. It can say a lot about that, but it could also just mean that they're happy with the options. Do you know what I mean? Depending on how the options do between now and January.
Well, again, then that's on the hierarchy and the manager to say
if
they're happy with it. If they're happy with it, that's on them. You get what I'm saying? So I didn't want to make it too much on the hierarchy anyway, because at the moment
there's no hierarchy to bitch about.
No, but I don't want to go on too much about that.
There's no. That's what I'm saying. People just have to show now their toxicity or positivity. I've always been a positive fan. Yeah, people used to say it like, "Oh, you get the ownership." Bro, my mentality has not changed in the 20+ years of supporting Spurs. Yeah, now Levy's not there. It doesn't make a difference to me. Now people are starting to understand, though, in my opinion, and just my opinion, that the criticism that people play, oh, Levy lover, you get the club that you deserve, this and that. Now you take Levy away, and now it's just a case of whether you're just raw supporting the players or not, whether you're raw, your way of supporting, your style of supporting, how you talk about the players, how you talk about the club. It's very clear to me how everyone talks about the club now, yeah, in their own way. There's no curtain of masquerading your abuse of players or the club in I want the best. Nah, bro, you're just negative, or you just talk about the players negatively, or you just articulate yourself in a way that I wouldn't agree with. Again, I'm not talking about you, Alex. I'm just talking about in general. That the point is here that a lot of fans got away with a lot of shit in terms of how they spoke about the club and the players because of Levy. And now Levy's gone, yeah, it's a lot easier to point people out and say, you're talking shit about these players. You're talking shit about young players that need support. Whether or not you think they're good enough, this isn't how you talk about 20-year-olds. If I went and started speaking about people's brothers, the way they talk about players online, yeah, they'd want to fight me. Do you know what I mean? But it's okay for them to do it for face. Nah, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying. So, Alex, I think you're within reason with your points. I don't think you're being too crazy. But I'm saying there's a lot of fans without the safety net of Levy who are being exposed for just being toxic.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not getting into that part. I mean, like I said, I'm only looking at it like this, yeah? Right? I supported players like Harry Winks.
I did love me some Harry Winks, by the way.
Ben Davis, Sanchez, and look what happened to them. Right? So if I'm sitting there saying,
you say you've been hurt, you don't want to love again because you've been hurt.
Not really. I know what quality is. I know what quality is, and I think unfortunately, because we had our previous manager, Pochettino, that made them look good because he has a good coach, right? That made them look good, and he coached them, and then unfortunately they fell off. That's what happened. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I just don't know. But I don't know, mate.
Look, I think it just comes down to how you like, what style you like, what type of player you like, whether you think a player is good enough, what you deem as good. Everyone's got a different level of what they think is good and what they think is bad. And universally, as Spurs fans at the moment, I all think that a lot of fans are happy with Kudus at the moment. And there's a good portion of fans that are happy with Paulinho as well. Do you know what I mean? Not all fans. There are some fans that aren't happy with him because
his last performance wasn't good, though.
Yeah, there's some fans, as I was saying, in terms of being a possession-based side, they don't think he's the one that's going to be able to push us forward or be a player that can get on the ball and make things tick as a number 6. However, most fans or a lot of fans will say he's what we needed. He's been like that Wilson Palacios. He's that defensive arm structure.
He's been brilliant. He's been brilliant overall. But
so that's what I'm saying. It all comes down to like how people rate players, isn't it? And you basically, regardless of age, don't rate Tell, and you don't rate Odobert. It's as simple as that. Do you know what I mean? Jay obviously sees the ceiling. He sees the potential, and he thinks it's too early to go in on them. Do you know what I'm saying? I see what you're saying. You're like, we don't have the time no more. We need someone that works and that can fit in the team right now because they're taking up spaces. So I see both sides of the argument. But I have a feeling this ain't over. I've got a feeling this debate will continue on. But I am going to end the show there. Yeah. Don't know where Jay is.
He's got too big for us now, man. He has to go.
He's going to get Uber Eats and spark a spliff. No, I'm joking. I don't know where Jay is, but yeah, he's big him up for coming on the show. Big up, obviously, Marlon. He was on the show earlier. We're talking about Romero and Vicario. He wanted to talk on that for a little while. Little goalkeeper debate. That was cool. And we had Jay on as well. JJ, sorry, coach, a licensed coach. Good guy as well. And we also had Oren mixing it up as per usual. Big those guys up. And he got the lovely Mr. Box Office right here. You got anything coming up? Anything you want to promote? I know you've been doing a lot lately in terms of content. Tell the people where you can find you, man.
Yeah, just keep watching the channel. Keep watching the channel. Just keep watching the channel. And,
All right. We will.
Yeah.
We'll keep watching. So make sure you get over there and you subscribe to Mr. Box Office TV. Also, big up to the chat. Jeez, you lot are still going in. Big up to the chat each and every time. I'm sorry I never had you on in the start, but obviously I was just taking over the control. But yeah, big up to the chat, man. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. You lot have been a part of the show as well. Yeah, man. But that's all I got to say, man. And this is a new platform for me, so I'm just trying to figure out how to end the stream. Actually, I figured it out now. But yeah, man, make sure you like, you share, and you do subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow with some rival chat. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit, man. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit tomorrow. So if you want to hear what other fans think of Tottenham players, I might bring Tel back up. I might want to hear what the Arsenal fans think of Tel, or the Man United fans, or the Liverpool fans think of Tel if he's good enough. Newcastle fans, let's have that same debate. Let's see what they think. Is it just us that have this opinion of these type of players?
Ellie's just put something in just late.
She put something in? Big up Ellie, man. Let me bring up the chat as well. Yes. Big up Ellie for the super sticker. Big up. Anxious face with sweat. Thanks, Ellie, man. Thanks for your support, man. She's been a proper supporter from day dot. And I've got a lot of time for Ellie, man. And yeah, if I haven't chatted anyone else from the chat, man, again, I appreciate you all. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.